this, the weather is a whole lot better this time around than it was back on Friday and Saturday when we were here for our first conference weekend of the 2023-24 broadcast season. And now it's, a weekend of sorts, I guess. This is a whole new scheduling philosophy that the North Star Athletic Association is trying out. And as you'll hear later in our pregame report with the head coach of the Viking women's basketball team, Vanessa Johnson, they're definitely trying it out, and they're going to see how it works. But there is a 3 and a 4-team pod, apparently. We're in the 3-team pod with Mayville State and Dickinson State, and we're playing in the pod this week. So that means that tonight we're at home, and on Friday night we're on the road. The Vikings are here tonight against Mayville State, and coming up on Friday, they'll be on the road to take on Dickinson State. Welcome to Viking basketball on the voice of the Vikings and the voice of the Valley, KOVC. Ryan Cunningham with you tonight once again from the W.E. Osmond Fieldhouse. The Viking women and men each gained splits of last weekend, being swept by Dakota State, sweeping Bellevue, although the Bellevue matchups that were the last out there for us were anything but routine. The Viking women went down 31-12 in the second quarter of that matchup, and that was a night after being beaten 104-67 by Dakota State, one of the top teams in the country. And as you'll hear with Coach Johnson later, there's a lot of teams that, after suffering that big defeat on Friday and being down 31-12 on Saturday and missing Adriana Torres out of the lineup as well due to a family issue, well, you could have folded up and went away, but the Vikings didn't do that. They rallied behind Ashlyn Deemer, who set the record for most three-point shots in a single game, knocking down 8 threes and a 10-point fourth quarter for J.C. Richter, the young lady out of Linton that led the volleyball team, or was one of the leaders of a volleyball team national tournament run. Well, now she can deliver on the basketball court as well, and the Vikings came back to win 70-69. In men's play, there was nothing routine about that matchup. 41 fouls and 29 turnovers combined between the Vikings and Bellevue, but the men found a way to win a rough and tumble affair by a final score of 64-60. Tonight, Mayville State comes to town with 2 very good basketball teams. The women from Mayville State are ranked 13th in the nation, and that's because this was the first poll that comes out after their stunning win over the University of North Dakota, 75-68, in a game that was not an exhibition for UND or for the Comets. That's a win over a Division I program that's been to a national tournament and won a Big Sky Conference championship in its past history, and they were stunned at the Betty Engelstad Sioux Center by these Comets, who are largely a North Dakota product, particularly and some of their go-to players. So this will be a very different challenge tonight coming up for the Vikings as they take on a top 15 opponent in the 13th ranked Comets. Now for the Viking men, Mayville State predicted to be one of the conference leaders, and they got out to a very fast start this year, and they've gotten out to a pretty good start inside the conference as well. And so the Viking men will have a challenge against a team that's been receiving votes throughout the poll this season as well in the top 25 picture. It's 2 very good teams for Mayville that are here. Rivalry night at the W.E. Osmond Fieldhouse. That always makes for a good crowd. Mayville State was planning on bringing a fan bus down here for the matchups tonight, so it'll be a ruckus fan crowd that comes in to root against the Vikings, and hopefully on a Wednesday night, not a lot going on, hopefully, not a lot of conflicts with games. Hopefully, we'll be able to get a good crowd here for the Vikings tonight, with the weather being cold but much better than it was this past weekend. And we're happy that you joined us tonight, wherever you may be around the region, for Viking basketball. Our pregame report is brought to you by Sanford Health Valley City, here for all and here for good. Coming up, the comments of Vanessa Johnson, the head coach of Viking women's basketball. We'll run down drive for the title. Where are we at in conference play after we got the first weekend of conference games done, and that new top 25 basketball poll that's out for this week, and our starting lineups and basketball schedule for a 5:30 tip tonight here at the W.E. Osmond Fieldhouse. It's the Vikings and Mayville State in rivalry night tonight here at Valley City State University. This is Viking basketball on the voice of the Vikings and the voice of the Valley, KOVC.
Rambo, a proud sponsor and fan of Viking Athletics, has been serving North Dakota, South Dakota, and Minnesota with quality logoed apparel and promotional products since 1979. With online store options built to meet the needs of your company, organization, or team, Rambo will ensure that the process of ordering is easy and accurate, and that your items are received on time. When you're ready to put your logo to work, give Matt a call at 701-680-9585. Rambo, we're in the business of making you look good.
CHI Mercy Health in Valley City strives to bring you quality health care close to home. They're bringing in mammography services, extended their occupational therapy program, and updated physical therapy and emergency room spaces. They're currently seeking to fill a number of positions. To find out more, head to chimercyhealth.org under the Careers tab. CHI Mercy Health Valley City, voted top 100 critical access hospital and one of the first in the nation designated as an acute cardiac-ready hospital, providing quality health care close to home.
Are you on the right financial path? Are all your financial professionals on the same page? At LaRue Lockout Financial, you can be assured that your investment professional and tax professional are working together. Call Ryan LaRue at 701-845-6938 or James M. Lockout at CPA 701-845-1660. Services offered through Investment Advisors, a division of Pro Equities Incorporated, a registered investment advisor, and securities offered through Pro Equities Incorporated, a registered broker-dealer and member FINRA and SIPC.
Every body is different. Some experience injuries, while others need extra support.
I'll help you, Grandma.
At Jamestown Regional Medical Center, your health is what matters most. Our orthopedics and sports medicine team care for you and your unique needs. Their goal is to help you live your best life. Choose Jamestown Regional Medical Center for care of hips, shoulders, knees, and broken bones. Learn more at jrmcnd.com/orthopedics.
Why choose professional eye care centers? Let me count the whys. First, there are now 4 great doctors to see. Dr. Frank, Dr. Freilich, Dr. Jangala, and now welcoming Dr. Bond. Next is their many locations. You can now see one of their spectacular doctors in Jamestown, Valley City, Carrington, Edgeley, Ellendale, and Lemoore. And finally, their fantastic frame selection. And yes, all of their frames and lenses are backed up by warranty. Visit ProEyeCareCenters.com and make an appointment today. Professional Eye Care Centers, clearly the best.
Welcome back to the W.E. Osmond Fieldhouse. Viking basketball tonight on the Voice of the Vikings and the Voice of the Valley, KOVC. We are live tonight getting ready for 2 big rivalry matchups as the Vikings will take on Mayville State University, the rival from up the road. Tonight, final home game for 3 straight dates in a row, a week and a half before the Vikings find their way back to the Fieldhouse for a home game. So tonight the Vikings are hoping to get out of here with a couple of big efforts before they hit the road for Dickinson coming up this weekend. We're glad you joined us for it tonight here on KOVC as we bring you our coverage. Our pregame report is presented tonight by Sanford Health Valley City, here for all and here for good. Let's take a look at Drive for the Title. We'll start there, and we'll give you a rundown of where these teams are at coming into tonight. Mayville State University's unbeaten in conference play. They played 1 less game than Dakota State thus far, but those are the 2 leaders as far as the conference is concerned. Coming into the night, Dakota State 3-0, Mayville State 2-0. The Trojans are 15-4, and these Comets are 13-2 on the season. So the best overall record right now in the league does belong to Mayville State. They've got 13 wins. Dakota State has 15 wins, but 2 additional losses as well, and they're both competitive right there on top of the league. Viterbo and Valley City State ended a tie for 3rd at the end of the opening weekend of conference play, each at 1-1. The Vikings are 7-9 coming into tonight. Bellevue's 1-2 after the Vikings come from behind win over the Bruins back on Saturday. Waldorf 0-2. Dickinson State is 0-2. And again, the schedule is going to be a little different because not everybody plays on Wednesday. Tonight, this is the only game as far as the league is concerned. So tonight it's the Vikings and Mayville. That's it as far as the league goes. And then coming up on Friday and Saturday, the Vikings will go to Dickinson State. And it's a full conference weekend going on to our south. Viterbo is at Dakota State. Waldorf is at Bellevue. Next weekend, the Vikings will go to Viterbo and Waldorf to complete the first circuit through conference play. They'll have had a game at that point with everybody in the league once that is done. So again, this scheduling formula is a little bit different, but with the 7 teams that we have, doing our best to try to figure it out and put it together as best as we can. And it looks like they've got a handle on how things are going to work. And I guess what we're being told is that next year the University of Jamestown slides into that Waldorf spot. So I'm going to guess we'd probably do this again next year, but you never know. Could be some changes there for a season. Now, as far as the new top 25 women's basketball poll that came out today, the big mover was Mayville State, up 5 spots from number 18 to number 13. The pollsters definitely took into account their win over the UND Fighting Hawks, and Mayville State moves up from number 18 to number 13. Dakota State moved up 2 spots from number 13 to number 11. So there are 2 teams in this league that are in the top 15 right now. Dordt, Iowa is number 1, followed by Indiana Wesleyan, Campbellsville, Kentucky, Clark, Iowa, and Marion, Indiana. The other notables that we keep an eye on, Carroll, Montana, moving down a spot. They're currently 6th. Concordia down in the GPAC is currently 8th coming in. Briar Cliff moves down a couple of spots to number 10. Grandview, Iowa is currently number 18 in the top 25 poll, and that'll do it for teams that are around us as far as our regional teams or for teams that are in the top 25 that have moved a bit. Rocky Mountain dropped out of the poll. Northwestern Iowa is not quite in the poll, but received plenty of votes this last week. Dakota Wesleyan got some votes in this poll as well. So there's a good collection of teams around us that are getting national recognition, but the 2 teams that we focus on are good ones. Dakota State's 11th this week. Mayville State is 13th. And tonight, Mayville State comes in 2-0 in the league. The Vikings are 1-1. Mayville State at 13-2, and the Vikings are currently 7-9. And that's a look at Drive for the title tonight here on our Sanford Health Valley City pregame report, brought to you by Sanford Health Valley City. Here for all and here for good. Up next, the comments of Vanessa Johnson, the head coach of Viking women's basketball, as we continue with our pregame report. We'll talk about being at home for the last time in a while. We'll also talk about a very good Mayville State team with kind of a 2-headed monster right now. And J.C. Richter earns an opportunity to start tonight for the Vikings due to that big performance that she had against Bellevue on Saturday afternoon. This is Viking basketball on the voice of the Vikings and the voice of the Valley, KOVC. Grotberg Electric believes in quality first, taking pride in the work and standing behind every project they do. They bring together the power, technology, and experience to keep your business online. The success of Grotberg Electric depends on 3 major ideals: the quality of their products, the commitment to their customers, and most of all, their customer service. Call Grotberg Electric today at 845-3010 or visit them online, grotbergelectric.com.
Lever's Foods, best quality, best price. Lever's Foods, best service, they're nice. Lever's Foods, they make everything right.
All this week at Lever's Foods in Valley City, save big on boneless beef bottom roast, $3.99 a pound. Extra large red or green seedless grapes, $1.99 a pound. Kellogg's cereals after coupon, just $1.88 a box. And Progresso vegetable classic soup, 3 for only $4.98. Delivery is available by calling 845-1732. Lever's Foods, Valley City.
Hi, this is Clint from Central Avenue Health Mart Pharmacy in beautiful downtown Valley City, your only locally owned pharmacy since 1989. When you're locally owned, you care about your community and your customers. We offer a great selection of gifts and toys, as well as yarns, fabrics, sewing, and crafting. We are here for you from 9 to 5:30 weekdays and Saturdays 9 to 1. For all your pharmaceutical needs, give us a call, 845-5280.
Health Mart, taking time to listen and care.
Welcome back to our coverage of Viking basketball tonight in the voice of the Vikings and the voice of the Valley, KOVC. Tonight, the 13-2 Mayville State University Comet women will take on the Viking women at 7-9. The Comets 2-0, the Vikings 1-1 inside conference play. It's followed up by a men's doubleheader end tonight as the Viking men and Comet men will meet for the first time this season coming up at the end of the night. Our pregame report is brought to you by Sanford Health Valley City, here for all and here for good. And it's time for the comments of Vanessa Johnson, the head coach of Viking women's basketball. And we began with the concept that this is a different scheduling formula. You're at home this weekend, but you're at home for a weekend that's a Wednesday. And then on Friday, it's also the part of the weekend, and you go on the road. We haven't done this before where we split them one at a time on the different ends of a weekend, but we're doing it. And you can hear in Coach Johnson's response that not everybody's sold on it 100% yet. We're doing what we have to do to get through, but also a big performance for J.C. Richter on Friday, backing up Ashlyn Deemer's record-breaking performance, and that's a change in the starting lineup tonight. Great comments tonight from Vanessa.
Oh, for sure, yeah. We went on, I think, a 5-game stretch here where we've been at home, so we're starting to feel good, right? It's way better to play at home. But I was just talking with Hunter a little bit about this Wednesday, Friday, Saturday bit with our conference and how we like it, and we're going to see. I mean, it's always better to play at home, but then we go and play a tough Dickinson team on the road right away. So both of these games are big for us.
Your last matchup against Bellevue, that's really a piece of character development for your team. You're shorthanded without Adriana. You get down 31-12, and the tent could have folded up, and instead Ashlyn Deemer leads you back. Big fourth quarter for J.C. Richter, and you persevered and found a way to win.
Yeah, absolutely, and I've been telling everybody that's talked to me about that win. It was more of a gut check, and I'm so proud of our kids for being able, because we got our tail kicked on Friday night, and we show up and get down 31-12. I mean, anybody would have rolled over and died, and we didn't. And in that locker room at halftime, it was all like you could just feel the passion in there about we're not losing again, like we're going to make this happen again. Now, we got lucky down the stretch. We got 3 stops. That last shot almost went in for them, so I mean, we take a little bit of luck. But you could just feel the difference in the locker room, and so hopefully that carries over to tonight.
Coach, Ashlyn Deemer hit 8 threes. There's no way to overstate how big a leader she was, but down the stretch in the fourth quarter when you needed somebody else to step up, J.C. Richter, like 3 offensive rebounds, 10 points in the fourth quarter. She's undersized going in there and doing some stuff. That was a fun fourth quarter to watch from her, too.
Yeah, absolutely, and she's starting tonight for that reason, and just a matter of that she just gets stuff done, right? We can just trust her. She can go and get a rebound. She knows how to win, right? She's a winner, and so yeah, super proud of that kid. Now she's frustrated. She missed 6 free throws, and so we keep trying to get her to the positives because everyone saw the positives, and she's of course mad that she missed so many free throws. But she's just a kid right now that is grinding, that's going through it, that's learning everything, but still giving us everything she has. So I'm so proud of that kid.
Finally, Coach, Mayville State, there's a lot of weapons on that team, but really they're pretty easy to break down. Jordan's Rust is one heck of a player. You have to find a good effort against her before you start messing around with some other things. They've got ways to keep you honest, but really a lot of things run through her.
Oh, for sure. And when now teams that are keen and everyone's focused on Rust, Mackenzie Hughes is also taken off for them. And so they're kind of a two-headed monster right now with Hughes that tries to get downhill hard, with Rust who can kind of do it all. And so you have to be ready to guard. Obviously, like you said, they have threats at all positions, but you have to plan to take away Rust, but then you also have to be able to defend their downhill kids, and that's Hughes right now.
Jordan's Rust, 19 points, 6 points, 8.7 rebounds a game. She's been a terror in this league since she was a sophomore. And Mackenzie Hughes, 16.5 points a game, that can really run the transition game extremely well. Shoots a great three-point shot. She's a small-town kid out of Thompson, North Dakota. And this team from Mayville State's got North Dakota kids all over it. And really, they're sort of rehabbed pieces. Jess Mertens was elsewhere at the start of her career. Devils Lake, North Dakota standout that a lot of Highlander fans recognize. She's transferred in. Alex Page started her career at the University of Minnesota Crookston, comes back to Mayville. She's a Grand Forks Red River kid. This is a pretty good team that's been put together by Mayville State because they stepped in contact with some players that didn't choose them initially, and they got those players back after a couple of years of being in other spots. And now tonight, we'll see how the Vikings match up with Mayville State in this one, which counts for conference points this evening. The Vikings come in 7-9. Mayville State's 13-2, and it's a conference battle tonight. Starting lineups are on the way next. Our pregame report brought to you by Sanford Health Valley City. Here for all and here for good. We'll come back with those starters and the tip-off tonight on Viking basketball here on the Voice of the Vikings and the Voice of the Valley, KOVC.
Sanford Health of Valley City is dedicated to transforming your healthcare experience and providing access to world-class healthcare right here in America's heartland. We're committed to improving the human condition at every stage of life through exceptional care, spiritual enhancement, innovation, and discovery. Schedule your appointment today at Sanford Health of Valley City by calling 701-845-6000 or self-schedule online at mysanfordchart.org. Sanford Health, here for all, here for good.
This is Hannah Whelan at Valley City State University. The V500 scholarship members' generosity and commitment is exactly the kind of community involvement we need to keep VCSU going strong. The many scholarships provided are a testament to the support of the alumni, family, and friends of VCSU. Please keep expanding the opportunities available to enhance the lives of the next generation and make a difference for attracting future Vikings by supporting scholarships online at give.vcsu.edu or by calling the VCSU Foundation.
When you're craving the taste of juicy, flavorful, locally sourced beef and pork, look no further than your locally owned Valley Meat Supply. At Valley Meat Supply, we take pride in bringing you the finest cuts of beef and pork straight from local producers. So whether you're planning a mouth-watering barbecue or a cozy family meal, choose Valley Meat Supply for the highest quality, locally grown beef, pork, and award-winning jerky, sticks, and sausage. Valley Meat Supply, West Main, Valley City. Your taste buds will thank you.
CHI Mercy Health in Valley City strives to bring you quality health care close to home. They're bringing in mammography services, extended their occupational therapy program, and updated physical therapy and emergency room spaces. They're currently seeking to fill a number of positions. To find out more, head to chimercyhealth.org under the Careers tab. CHI Mercy Health Valley City, voted top 100 critical access hospital and one of the first in the nation designated as an acute cardiac-ready hospital, providing quality health care close to home.
Welcome back to our coverage of Viking women's basketball tonight on the Voice of the Vikings and the Voice of the Valley, KOVC. It's the Vikings in Mayville State this evening in North Star Athletic Association play. The Comets enter 13-2, 2-0 in the league. The Vikings are 7-9, 1-1 inside North Star Athletic Association play tonight. The Comets are the visitors, the Vikings the home team here at the W.E. Osmond Fieldhouse. Let's take a look at our starting lineups for tonight. They're brought to you by CHI Mercy Health Valley City. Hello, Human Kindness. The guards tonight are C.J. Decker from Mayville State, 5'4" senior out of Howard Lake, Minnesota, and Aaron Walker, a 5'11" grad student from Beulah, North Dakota. Also at guard tonight, Jordan Rust, 6-foot grad student from Buffalo, Minnesota. Also at guard, Mackenzie Hughes, a 5'5" junior from Thompson, North Dakota, and Jess Mertens, a 5'9" senior from Devils Lake, North Dakota. They list all 5 players as guards. Now, Rust will play the 4 or the 5 and go back and forth, but the reason why they list them as guards is because they would love to play transition basketball, and they don't really care who's playing what position. They like to shoot the basketball as well. And we see Dennis Hutter back as the head coach of Mayville State. For the Vikings tonight, the guards are Haley Roberts, a 5'6" junior from Minot, North Dakota. Ellie Broughton, a 5'3" freshman from West Hope, North Dakota. And J.C. Richter, a 5'6" sophomore from Linton, North Dakota. The forwards, Adriana Torres, a 5'10" senior from Pelican Rapids, Minnesota. And Ashlyn Deemert, a 5'9" junior from West Fargo, North Dakota. But I'll tell you what, the Vikings could have just as easily started 5 guards tonight, because that's what they did. They started 5 guards in this lineup tonight. Vanessa Johnson, her 7th season as the head coach of the Vikings, assisted by Taylor Henningsgaard. Taylor's back. She was unable to get to Valley City to coach in the matchup on Saturday due to the terrible weather conditions that we have, but she's back on the bench tonight, which is good to see her. Mayville State's in black with blue. The Vikings are in cream with cardinal. Jordan's Rust to jump for Mayville State versus Adriana Torres. The Vikings right to left, Mayville State left to right to start the matchup. And the ball's controlled by Mayville State as C.J. Decker will bring this into the front court and get play started. Mackenzie Hughes looking left side, quick dribble penetration. Hands to Jess Mertens, who will cut into the lane, and back to Decker on the right side of the floor. Hughes open for 3, top of the key, hits it. Mackenzie Hughes stepping back, hitting a 3-point shot. 35.5% from beyond the 3-point line on the season. She knocks down her first tonight here in Valley City. And the Vikings will play from behind to start tonight. It's 3-0 in favor of the Comets. J.C. Richter, baseline drive, whistle and a foul coming up from behind. Jordan's Rust reaching after the basketball. That's going to be enough to warrant a foul against the leading scorer for the Comets. Rust, 19.6 points, 8.7 rebounds per game. She is clearly a leader. Ashlyn Deemert, after a hot shooting day, knocks down another 3 to get things started for the Vikings. Deemert hit 8 threes to start the matchup and finish the matchup for Valley City State against Bellevue. A drive, Jess Mertens had a shot blocked by Deemert, but comes up with her own miss. A cut to C.J. Decker in the lane, back out Mackenzie Hughes, same spot. This time the 3's off the heel of the rim, and Deemert comes up with a rebound for the Vikings. We're tied at 3 after Deemert's 3. A minute into the opening quarter of basketball. J.C. Richter on the right elbow. Deemert to the right wing, able to find Haley Roberts. A jab step to her left, a stop on the elbow. Looks baseline, that's deflected, broken up, and the Comets will take it away. Stepping in front, Jess Mertens on the deflection. Mertens drives the length of the floor, then circles back to the right wing and finds Aaron Walker on the top. C.J. Decker moving, and a foul against J.C. Richter reaching after the basketball. The Vikings' first foul tonight. J.C. Richter picks it up, and the Comets will inbound to the front court. Ashlyn Deemert set the record for the Vikings for most 3-point shots in a game by a single player, knocking down 8, surpassed 7 which had been done 4 times in Viking history. That came on Saturday against Bellevue. Haley Roberts hands in on a dribble drive from Aaron Walker, disrupts the basketball, and comes up with a takeaway. Vikings back up the floor, looking for their first lead. Deemer driving left, 15-footer mid-range, strong. A loose ball on the left side for Ellie Broughton. She tries to kick it out to the top of the key after a takeaway for the Vikings, and it's stolen by Mackenzie Hughes up to C.J. Decker on the fast break. Decker will score, and Mayville State gets into that transition game that we spoke of in the pregame report and does damage on the takeaway from Valley City State. Vikings down 5-3, just about 2 minutes into the opening quarter. Deemer stepping left on a left-hand dribble. She's given that left-hand, and a cross-court pass disrupted. Jordan's Rust to take away. Hard to the basket, scores. Jordan's Rust, first 2 tonight. Back-to-back takeaway breakaways for the Vikings, and Mayville State's thrown a bit of a 1-3-1 zone at the Vikings, which might have been a little unexpected. We don't see this from Dennis Hutter coach teams very often. A fall-away by J.C. Richter breaking up the zone. She hits off the glass from 6, and the Vikings cut the Comet lead to 2 at 7-5. C.J. Decker left wing for the Comets. A look in. Rust in the high post, deflected away from behind by Adriana Torres. Back to Rust out on the outside, picking up the loose basketball. Back to the basket. Rust driving, picks up a foul. Torres will be called for it. This should be a shooting violation, and Rust lines up at the foul line to take the shots. Each team is set to make some changes. The Comets play deep, so we'll see this a lot tonight. Alex Page enters for the first time. 6-foot junior out of Grand Forks, North Dakota, Red River standout. She'll play a forward spot tonight for the Comets. Meanwhile, Jordan's Rust, a lefty, is at the foul line, and her opener is good to give her her 3rd point and lead the lead back to 3 for Mayville State. The Vikings have entered Elise Hebrink at a guard position. 5'5" junior from Austin, Minnesota. Second foul shot is good, and on the LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard, the Comets lead the Vikings 9-5 after 2.5 minutes of the opening quarter here at North Star Athletic Association play tonight in Valley City. Ball on the top of the key, Ellie Broughton for the Vikings, looking into that zone for Torres. It's too strong. Torres found a spot inside that 1-3-1, but the pass too hard and through her hands, and the Comets will get it back. Mackenzie Hughes will take the trigger and takes a long look at Dennis Hutter on the bench to get a look at the offense with the new lineup on the floor. Back to the basket for Hughes. She'll kick out to Rust, who draws a defender from the left wing. Rust drives her way in, spin move back to the right, scoop layup, got around Torres. Rust with 6, creating her own shot inside, and that take to the basket. And the Comets will take an 11-5 lead over Valley City State. The 1-3-1 zone has changed now for Mayville State. They're a bit smaller in the interior. Deemer for 3 hits again. Ashlyn Deemer at left wing. That's 10 threes in the last 5 quarters for Ashlyn Deemer to count this one. And the Vikings back to within a 3-point margin. Score is 11-8 in favor of Mayville State. Russ going to get called for carrying the basketball. Dribble got high on that left hand. She flipped the wrist and then tried to reestablish, and that'll be a takeaway for Valley City State on an unforced error. The new player in the middle for Mayville State is Taylor Dean, a 5'6" senior from Stanley, North Dakota. And on that last rotation, Dean got caught in the middle of the 1-3-1 zone. The middle player in that zone is really undersized. Deemer for 3 comes up empty. Rebound and attempt to save by Elise Hebrink. She cannot get there. But the last 2 cycles, 3 cycles down the floor for Mayville State's defense. Mackenzie Hughes has been on the foul line in that 1-3-1. She's 5'5". And then Taylor Dean is 5'6", so they're going to be small in the interior of that 1-3-1. Here's Dean cutting the basket, missing. Great pass from Hughes. She couldn't come up with a bucket off the glass. Adriana Torres the board, and we'll see a foul coming up against the Comets. It's going to go against Dean. Second team foul against Mayville State of the quarter. And the Vikings with the basketball still trailing by 3 at 11-8. 6 of 8 for Ashlyn Deemer on a pair of threes for the Vikings. Ellie Broughton on top. To Deemer on the top of the key, looking left wing, long mid-range jump shot good. Adriana Torres, welcome back. She was away from the team for a funeral in the family back on Saturday. Hits on the baseline, and the Vikings cut the Comet lead to 1 at 11-10. Alex Page looking off towards the top of the key. Greta Hillucka, a 5'8" sophomore coming into the matchup out of Perham, Minnesota, ends up turning the basketball over for the Comets. A kick to Deemer, right corner 3 for the lead. It's good. Third 3 of the quarter for Ashlyn Deemer. Comet timeout as the Vikings take a 2-point edge at the midway point of the quarter. 5:34 left of the opening stanza. The Vikings 13, the Comets 11 on our LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard. We have a timeout from Mobility Plus rehabilitation. This is Viking basketball.
Are you on the right financial path? Are all your financial professionals on the same page? At LaRue Lockout Financial, you can be assured that your investment professional and tax professional are working together. Call Ryan LaRue at 701-845-6938 or James M. Lockout at CPA 701-845-1660. Services offered through Investment Advisors, a division of Pro Equities Incorporated, a registered investment advisor, and securities offered through Pro Equities Incorporated, a registered broker-dealer and member FINRA and SIPC.
13-11 your score. The Vikings leading by 2 over Mayville State this evening after the third three in the last 5 quarters for Ashlyn Deemer to Valley City State, and Mackenzie Hughes is called for carrying the basketball. Hey, I just want to send out a personal shout out. Just got a text message from a guy I know back in Grand Forks. Tyler, thank you for taking this in. I'm assuming you're watching tonight because you're rooting for Alex Page, a former Red River Rough Rider standout, and I like seeing her back on the floor as well. I just wish she was in the same uniform that I could root for. You know what I mean? But it's all right. We'll get over it after the game is over. Off the left side of the floor, Ellie Broughton for Valley City State. Hebrink on top, looking foul line, was able to find her way in. A pullback, and Adriana Torres hits a fall away from 13 feet. Adriana Torres making her way to the baseline and scoring from 13. And the Vikings have taken a 15-11 lead. They've scored 9 consecutive points in the matchup. Crossover, Mertens hard to the basket. Knocked away, J.C. Richter. Good defensive stop for the Vikings. It'll stay Comet basketball up in the front court. Vikings went down by a score of 11-6. Correction, it's a 10-0 run for the Vikings. They were down 11-5 and came roaring back at a couple of big three-point shots from Ashlyn Deemer. And now some other success around the way. Rust cutting to the basket. Their success, count at 1. Jordan's Rust with Ellie Broughton trying to come in and take the spot away, and a foul will be called against Broughton. Rust will score her 8th of the opening frame. A 20-point-per-game scorer, just shy of it, and Jordan's Rust has been an impact player league-wide since he was a sophomore for Mayville State. She completes the three-point play. Rust now with 9, 3 of 3 from the foul line, and the Viking lead has been trimmed. It's now 15-14 in favor of Valley City State. Broughton right block to J.C. Richter, a kick out. It'll work through the hands of Elise Hebrink. Now Broughton again on the right wing. Deemer left side, and that zone continues to move against her. Right side, Broughton, quick release on a 3, in and out. Another offensive rebound for Hebrink. She'll kick to Richter to the basket. High bank shot missed, and this time the rebound tussles won by Jess Mertens for Mayville State, the former Devils Lake Firebird. Mertens into the front court, looking left side. Zrust eyed up a 3, but Torres closed the distance. Zrust spins, hard take to the basket with the right hand this time, missing strong, and Deemert on the weak side has the rebound for Valley City State. 4 minutes left of the opening quarter. The Vikings leading 15-14. Ball left side with Hebrink, a look in. To the corner, Torres shooting well from that spot. That rolls off. Rebound deflected out towards the foul line. Mackenzie Hughes has it and wants to run. She's down numbers. The Vikings have done a pretty good job of getting back in most situations tonight defensively against a good transition team. Mertens in the right corner, reverses back to the top for Taylor Dean. Dean back to the basket, driving on Hebrink, and a bump's going to draw a foul. Hebrink's going to pick up her first, and that's the final foul that the Vikings have to give of the quarter. The penalty now the rest of the first. Haley Roberts will return for Valley City State, replacing Hebrink in that position. C.J. Decker back in for Mayville State. Kayla Rockel will enter for the first time, a 5'8 senior from Underwood, Minnesota. And we'll see the return of Greta Hillucka, the sophomore from Pearl, Minnesota, who was in, quickly back out, and now back into the game. And Hillucka will take the inbounds pass for the Comets off the dribble, a 3 from the right wing, good. And the lead goes back to Mayville State. Greta Hillucka with her first scoring of the night, 17-15. Comets retake a 2-point edge over Valley City State. 3.5 to go in the opening quarter. Torres in the middle of the zone. Back out to Broughton with a head fake. Hard take, run to the rack. Count it for Ellie Broughton. Got a bump in there as well. Looking for the extra. Didn't get the foul, but Ellie Broughton, the freshman, stepping up and hitting a hard take to the basket. Alex Page with a handoff to Hillucka on the top of the key. A look left and a kick back towards the right side. Step in there for Rockel, who will play it back to the top for Rust. Rust, a crossover, looking left hand. Got it fouled, but no, it's not a foul. It's a traveling violation. Rust is used to getting that call, and you can tell she's eyeing up the official pretty closely as she jogs back in. to the Comet backcourt, and we see a conversation between Dennis Hutter and the official as well. Everybody thought that was going to be a bucket for Zrust. It's a travel instead, and the Vikings take over after the turnover, but they'll quickly turn it back over. Broughton, a baseball throw towards Diemert, and Zrust was the only person waiting for it. She'll kick out. Hillucka transition three, good, and the Comets go back up three. Greta Hillucka knocking down her sixth, and it's 20-17. Mayville State reclaims a three-point lead. A three for the answer. Good from the top of the key for J.C. Richter. Richter gets the start tonight, the sophomore two-sport athlete for the Vikings, the libero on that national tournament volleyball team. She gets to start after a 10-point fourth quarter against Bellevue in the last matchup, and now the Vikings force a turnover. Roberts in transition, missing. There's Richter, the O-board, and finish. J.C. Richter with 7, cleaning up the offensive miss. And the Vikings are quickly back up by 2 at 22-20. 2:05 left in the opening quarter on the LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard. A curl by Zrust into the lane, back to the basket, turning, got around Richter, scores it on the double pivot. Zrust knows so many ways to find her shot, a very experienced player inside. That's 11 first quarter points for Jordan Zrust. Torres gets a one-on-one matchup with Page in the middle, fall away off the glass with the left hand. Adriana Torres with 6 getting inside as Alex Page was the back end of that 1-3-1 zone, and that's really the first one-on-one matchup we've seen in the paint for the Viking offense tonight. Hughes crossover left hand, take to the rack, score it for Mackenzie Hughes. And this is becoming a track meet. We are even at 24. 2 high-octane offenses with 1:25 to go in the opening quarter. Roberts to the right side for Richter in the corner. Richter jab step, driving into the lane, kick out. Broughton's got all day to look at a 3. Comes up off the front of the rim short. Hillucka has the rebound for Mayville State. Comet crossover, Hillucka, hounded by Torres, ball loose. It's scooped by Drust, who gets ahead into a 5-on-4. Quickly back is Broughton, but not in time to close out on Hillucka, and Hillucka drains a 3 from the left corner. That attempt to steal by Broughton left Hillucka open in the corner. Broughton ran over there, got a hand up, but she wasn't close enough to close out. And the Comets take a 27-24 lead. Torres with a mid-range jumper from the right elbow. Torres has 8 first quarter points. 1-point lead for Mayville State at 27-26. This is some of the best basketball you're going to see in women's play in the conference this year. These two teams are lighting it up and having fun. Decker, right corner to Page for 3, and it's money. Alex Page from the right corner hits a 3. The lead is 4 for Mayville State at 30-26. The shot clock's turned off, and the Vikings indicate they'll play for 1. Broughton across the stripe right side. Haley Robertson back to Broughton. Diemert from the top, got a screen from Torres. Steps in, foul line jumper on the way. It's off the heel. Rebound left side, and they left a lot of time for Mackenzie Hughes. She got the rebound with 9 seconds left. She's up front with 5. Crossover with 2.5 to the basket. Missed it. Roberts the rebound, and that's the end of the opening quarter. There wasn't a lot of defense, but there was a lot of fun in that first quarter of basketball. And the Comets have a 4-point lead.
Hey college students, are you looking for a part-time job that works around your schedule, pays well, and gives you free money for college every year? McDonald's offers all of it. We can work around your schedule, and we give $2,500 scholarships to everyone who works for 3 months and averages 15 hours per week. That's 2 full shifts a week or 3 shifts of 5 hours. It's that easy. We've already given out more than $75,000 to students in North Dakota this year. Let us help you become the next scholarship recipient. Come join our team. Text ND29 to 38000 to apply today.
You live life on the move. While you determine what direction that may be, we're here to help along the way. So go. Go with values. Go with friends. Go with support. Go with convenience.
High-octane first quarter of basketball. Mayville State shot 64.7% from the field in the first quarter of play. The Vikings shot 57.9% from the field. Comets 5 of 6 at the three-point line. The Vikings 4 of 7. Foul shots 3 of 3 for Mayville State. The Vikings didn't get one. 30-26 at the end of the opening quarter. The Vikings down 4 to Mayville State, but I'm not sure anybody really knows the score except for us. Ball in the left corner, and it's J.C. Richter traveling, trying to make her way down the baseline. A turnover against the Vikings. when you're in that kind of up and down basketball, you really just don't pay attention much to what the score is. Both teams had a higher number of turnovers than they like. The Comets turned it over 6 times, the Vikings 5 in the first quarter. But again, they don't pay attention to that either. It's just back and forth, and it's either hits or misses when it comes down to shots from the field. A drive in by Decker, ball knocked away. Torres created a turnover. The Vikings work back into the front court with the basketball down 4. Haley Roberts a head fake, and a look by Ashlyn Deemert for a quick distribution to left corner. Here's Torres on the way for 3. She hits it from the corner. Adriana Torres now with 11 points. She had 8 in the opening quarter of basketball. Ashlyn Deemert had 9 on 3 threes in that first frame for the Vikings. The leader in the opening quarter for the Comets, Jordan's Rust with 11, and Mackenzie Hughes steps on the baseline as she makes her way down the baseline for Mayville State towards the basket. And the Vikings will take over once again on a Comet turnover. Or are they going to call a team foul? They're going to call a foul on Mackenzie Hughes. The point was down to the baseline, so I thought perhaps they had ruled her out of bounds, but apparently they're going to get Mackenzie Hughes for an offensive foul in an awkward situation on the dribble drive. Inside, J.C. Richter falling off the glass against Aaron Walker, and J.C. Richter earning the opportunity to start tonight with her big quarter against Bellevue to seal the Viking win by 1 on Saturday. She's done a nice job again here in the opening quarter of this matchup. Walker driving right corner, nearly lost it, goes inside for Zrust, knocked out of bounds. Zrust can't hold on, and the Vikings will get it back. It was tipped by a Viking back into Rust's arms, and she was unable to close the door to take control of it. 31-30, the Vikings have gone ahead on the 3 by Adriana Torres and J.C. Richter's bucket inside. Richter right corner, baseline move and a stop. Turns it out, threw it away. Jess Merkin step in front of that one. Kicks it up the floor to Mackenzie Hughes, who goes to the glass, count it, 1. Mackenzie Hughes on her way in will score, and Hughes is going to the foul line, hitting the act. Foul is going to go against Haley Roberts. It'll be the first against Roberts tonight, and the first of the second quarter against Valley City State. And now Mackenzie Hughes to the foul line for the Vikings with an opportunity, or I should say rather for the Comets, with an opportunity to push the lead to 2. And the foul shot won't go. That's a rare miss for Mackenzie Hughes. Ball goes back to the Vikings on the rebound that was uncontested. Ellie Broughton brings it to the front court for Valley City State. Broughton looking into the right block. Torres back to the basket against Walker. Turns, pulls up in front of the rim, missed it, and Jordan's Rust will bring down the rebound along the baseline for Mayville State. Zrust back up front for the Comets. Left hand hard taking the lane against Torres. Kept her at bay with a forearm, but missed on the left-handed layup. Rebound to the perimeter. The Vikings with it. Broughton baseball pass up the floor. That's too strong for Deemert. Ashlyn Deemert trying to run the floor quickly. Kind of takes a look over to the bench. Vanessa Johnson doesn't really seem to pay much attention to that throwaway by the Vikings. She wants this team to get up the floor. We've seen that since their matchup a few weeks ago with the University of Jamestown. It's a way the Vikings have tried to negate their size disadvantage that they have in a lot of games, and they have a little bit of that tonight. Not as bad in some of those other games, but nonetheless, now the Vikings drop into 1-3-1 zone as well. Walker on the top of the key for Mayville State, stepping left, kicks left corner. Mertens into the elbow for Zrust against the zone, got fouled on the way in. And what was interesting about that possession for the Comets is the Vikings dropped a zone, and as soon as they did, the Comets knew exactly how to attack it. Good game planning for Dennis Hutter and Mayville State. Hutter's one of the better coaches you're going to find in the region, really at any level, and that's the reason why he can put a team together at the NAI level that goes up to the Betty Engelstead Sioux Center and knocks off UND, a Division I national tournament team from their past history, and gets a win that was not an exhibition for either team, but nonetheless a solid, clean win by 7 on the road against a Division I type of matchup. Jordan's Rust knocks down the first and the second. She's got 13 and is 5 of 5 from the foul line. The foul was on J.C. Richter, her second. She'll have to sit now with foul trouble. Elise Hebrink is in to replace her. Torres again back to the basket. The paint turn, double pivot, right-hand scoop. Missed it. Another rebound for Hebrink, however. The Vikings will kick out, and we'll see a travel coming up against Haley Roberts on the wing. We say another rebound for Hebrink because really the last 3 games, Elise Hebrink, undersized in that guard position, has gone in and done some dirty work on the glass for Valley City State. Handful of offensive rebounds in her last 3 games to include this. She's really done a nice job of trying to solve some of that disadvantage for the Vikings by reading it off the backside of those rebounds. Rust inside, missing on a layup. This time the rebound to Haley Roberts for Valley City State. 7 minutes to play, opening half, 34-31. The Vikings down by 3 in the LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard to Mayville State. Comets dropping back, bit of a zone, this time more of a 2-3 look rather than the 1-3-1. They've changed it up a bit. Roberts stopping her dribble high to Diemert on the foul line, looking underneath, no cut. Torres was on the baseline, looked to be setting up a cut to the basket underneath. Diemert went to the spot, but Torres stayed put. And that ball ends up flying its way out of bounds. The Vikings turn it over. And after a first quarter where neither team could miss, the offenses have stagnated just a little bit, and this has turned into more of a grind. Mertens a crossover, back to the basket against Diemert, comes back to her left hand and scores. Jess Mertens finding a way with space as the rest of the Comets just separated out to the perimeter and allowed Mertens to isolate. She could break down the defender, and Mertens has her first bucket of the night. The lead is 5 for Mayville State. Diemert on the foul line, a kick out. Roberts is open for 3. Off the heel with a high rebound coming off that heel to rim. It's on the floor. Broughton does battle for it, held ball, and the Comets will enjoy the benefit of the arrow. Alex Page comes back into the game, replacing Aaron Walker. And we'll see the return of Greta Hillucka. She'll come onto the floor to replace, well, Aaron Walker already out. It's going to be Jess Mertens that gets the break for Mayville State. 36-31, Comets an opportunity to go up 3 possessions. No one's led by more than 6 so far tonight. Rust cutting in off the glass. There's a 7-point lead, and that's going to force a timeout from Mayville State as Rust scores her 15th, and the Comets with some separation here in the second quarter. 38-31 Comets on the LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard. Timeout for Mobility Plus Rehabilitation. This is Viking basketball.
Why choose professional eye care centers? Let me count the whys. First, there are now 4 great doctors to see. Dr. Frank, Dr. Freilich, Dr. Jangela, and now welcoming Dr. Bond. Next is their many locations. You can now see one of their spectacular doctors in Jamestown, Valley City, Carrington, Edgeley, Ellendale, and Lemoore. And finally, their fantastic frame selection. And yes, all of their frames and lenses are backed up by warranty. Visit ProEyeCareCenters.com and make an appointment today. Professional Eye Care Centers, clearly the best.
38-31 Comets on the LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard. Welcome back to Viking basketball on the Voice of the Vikings and the Voice of the Valley KOVC from the W.E. Osmond Fieldhouse here in Valley City. Vikings down 7, first time any team's led by 3 tonight. They're looking for an answer. Ashlyn Diemert backing it on Page. High scoop layup missed. Jordan's Rust has the rebound for Mayville State. Vikings again come up empty. Comets on a 3, go up 10. Rust driving her way towards the left corner and then curls away from the baseline, scampering back out to the top of the key, hands it away to the right side for Kayla Rockel. Now to Hillucka, who draws a defender on a head fake. Hard take to the basket. Hillucka misses. Rebounds deflected towards the baseline and another board for Elise Hebrink. It's then knocked off of her body. They're going to say out of bounds off the Vikings. The initial turn by the official was that it was going back to Valley City State off the outstretched arms of Rockel, but as it came back down, it grazed Hebrink and went beyond the baseline, and this one heads back into the hands of the Comets, at least for the moment. Now the official who ended up making the call confers with his partner on the baseline, and they're going to say that the Vikings did establish possession. So on the turnover, the Comets will get a full 30-second clock due to the fact the Vikings initially came down with a rebound and didn't secure it. Off the left side, a turn by Taylor Dean driving into the lane. Stops right in the heart of the paint. Kicks it out. 3-point corner for Rust. She hits it. Jordan's Rust out of the left corner, hitting another big bucket for Mayville State. That's her first 3 tonight, but she's got 18 total, and we have yet 5 minutes to play till halftime. Little high-low game, and off the glass, the score for Adriana Torres for Valley City State, taking the pass from Ashlyn Diemert in the high-low look. Comet lead cut to 8. It briefly hit that 10-point margin. 3 right side, Hillucka nibbles in. Greta Hillucka hitting her 4th. She's treating the WE like it's the Louis Lee up in Mayville, the Louis Lee Fieldhouse, their home court. She's hit 4 3-point shots off the bench tonight. Torres, a turnaround jumper, thought she was fouled, didn't get the call, and Rust comes up with a loose basketball underneath the basket. Crossover by Rust, hard take to it, got a bump in the back, missed the shot. Page battling for an offensive board. The Vikings able to rip it away as Haley Roberts comes up with a takeaway for Valley City State. The lead is 11 for the Comets at 44-33. Post entry to Torres from 12, catch and shoot, missed it from just inside the foul line. CJ Decker had the ball, lost it. tries to scoop it up off the floor, fights off Deemer, and a timeout taken by Mayville State. Apparently, the Comets say they didn't take one. Coach Hutter says he didn't take one. C.J. Decker says she didn't take one. The official says you took one, and it's a 30-second timeout for the Comets. Timeout brought to you by Mobility Plus Rehabilitation. The Vikings and the Comets will do battle in men's basketball coming up in the second half of our doubleheader tonight. It's scheduled for a 7:30 tip. We'll have that for you this evening. It'll be game number 3 of the conference season for Valley City State after the Viking men somehow held off Bellevue to pick up their 10th win of the season back on Saturday in a game that saw the Bruins and the Vikings combined for 41 fouls and 29 turnovers. To use the terminology rock fight, I think would be accurate. We did. That's really what it turned out to be. Comets will inbound off the near side of the floor. Alex Page will step over to play it in for Mayville State. C.J. Decker waiting for the basketball in the Comet backcourt. She'll be given space. Ellie Broughton waits for her to step up front. Here comes Decker, and here come the Comets with an 11-point lead. Clock just under 4 minutes to play till halftime. Page a stop, may have walked with it. Going to turn into a held ball. It's going to go back to the Vikings. There was some possession there for Broughton, and it looked like Page was kind of stutter-stepping as she was coming to a stop. The Viking bench and crowd wanted travel, but they'll take it off the held ball. But still down 11. The Comets with a good surge in the second quarter, fueled by 18 first-half points from Jordan's Rust to have this 11-point lead. Deemer being defended closely now by Rust after her shooting performance to start the game. Stop-and-go dribble. Deemer goes down to Torres on the dish. Torres gets her shot blocked and a foul. Alex Page reaching up to try to redirect the shot, and it will be Page that picks up the first of her night. Second in the quarter for Mayville State, and Torres finds her way to the foul line. Torres with 13 first-half points to lead the way. Her first well short, barely drew iron. And there's a good Mayville State fan contingent here that's looking right at that end of the gym, and they are making sure that Torres hears all about her miss. Can you imagine what it will be like when the men play? Second foul shot for Torres is good. The men's matchups are usually a little bit more of an intense affair amongst the crowd bases that are in both universities' field houses, just 75 miles apart. This is a good rivalry in college basketball in particular. A step in by Zrust, double pivot, Euro back to her right foot and a foul. Zrust pivoted and came back to a hard right Euro step and got to the basket, but draws a foul in the process, missing the shot. The foul will go against Adriana Torres. That's her second. And right now, Vanessa Johnson, the head coach of the Vikings, has a tough decision to make. And that decision apparently has been made as the Vikings are going to send Ellie Powell into the matchup at one of the post positions. Zrust knocks down her first foul shot. The reason for the tough decision, Richter's already on the bench with 2 and Torres with 2 as well. You don't want to see Torres get her third, but the Vikings didn't send her in just yet. Now they will on the made shot. If that shot wouldn't have been made by Jordan's Rust, Powell might not have been able to enter the game. Powell, before at least an opportunity for Page to pick up that foul. That would have been her third. Ellie Powell steps in, a 5'11 freshman out of Bowman, North Dakota. Started the last couple of games for Valley City State. Tonight, J.C. Richter started in that spot, but Powell's been good around the basket, but throws this one away, trying to kick out to Katie Johnson, who also stepped in on the change. Mackenzie Hughes forces the takeaway. Hughes backspinning into the lane and turning it back to C.J. Decker in the right corner. Page will hand off to Rust, flexing her way from left to right, and threw it away as Decker didn't make the cut out to the perimeter. We mentioned Katie Johnson getting into the game as well, 5'6 junior out of Perham, Minnesota. By the numbers, Katie Johnson has been the top three-point shooter for the Vikings up until the last couple of games. Then, of course, we saw Ashlyn Deemert just blow up, but she's had a solid season as Johnson off the bench for 3. A pull-up by Deemert from the right elbow is missed, and a foul on the rebound. They're going to ticket Katie Johnson into the back of Jordan's Rust. Johnson's first. That's the third for the Vikings. One more to give with 2:44 left in the opening half of play. One more to give here in the second quarter. Comets lead by 12 at 46-34 after the 2 made foul shots a couple of moments ago for Jordan's Rust. A kick out to the left side. Greta Hillucka driving her way towards the paint. A stop and a look. Played it back to Hughes, nearly stolen by Elise Hebring. Hughes looking back left corner. Hillucka head fake the draw defender. Found Decker. Bounce into Rust high left block. She goes to the basket. Scores, but wave it off. There will be a foul on the floor before Rust got to the window. Fouls against Ellie Broughton, her second. So now Another tough situation here for the Vikings. Broughton with 2, point guard. Do you want to risk her getting her third? Still 2:22 to go, and you can read the eyes of head coach Vanessa Johnson. Right now she's engaged in a pretty good conversation with Taylor Henningsgaard, and now they have 5 fouls on the board for the Vikings, so apparently they had missed one, and that does result in the penalty. Fouls on the floor, but Zrust will shoot, and she's over the 20-point plateau for the first half. 21 points for Jordan Zrust, 11 in the first quarter, 10 in the second with a foul line free throw pending, and it is also good. She hasn't missed a thing. Jordan Zrust with 22, and from the line tonight, she is 9 of 9 from the free throw line, and that builds a 14-point lead for Mayville State at 48-34. A step back 3, that one by Diemert, Strong off the heel of the rim. Rebound to the perimeter, Strong as well, and it's run down by Elise Hebrink for Valley City State. Diemert on top, head faking, trying to draw Hillucka, does, dribbles to the foul line, off the dribble, that shot is a little strong. Also, Mackenzie Hughes, a reach back rebound, and here come the Comets into the front court. Hughes looking for separation after dribbling up front, kicks back to Zrust, who will work to the right. Spin move back to her left hand, to stop in the lane, cut off, out to Hughes, catch and shoot 3, rolls around and good. Mackenzie Hughes grazing that one off the front iron, getting it to roll through, and Hughes with a double-figure first half. She's got 10. Diemert on the right elbow. The lead is 17 for the Vikings. They've scored only 8 points in the second quarter after 26 in the first. On the foul line, Diemert pops a jumper, again no good. Powell looking for a rebound, ends up fighting off a Comet and watching the ball go out of bounds off of Mayville State. It'll stay Viking basketball. It was 30-26 at the end of the opening quarter, and this has turned into a 21-8 quarter for Mayville State. The Vikings were getting back as if it was going to be a defensive possession for them, but this is going to be Viking basketball, so they're being summoned back into the front court. But the Vikings have been cold from the field. Diemert hasn't hit a shot in the second quarter. Torres on the bench with 6 of their 8 second quarter points, but with foul trouble. J.C. Richter had a good first quarter. She had foul trouble as well, so the Vikings in a hurt situation right now as far as the fouls are concerned. 10 left on the shot clock after the inbounds play. Katie Johnson with it to Broughton on the right wing. Shot clock at 5. Broughton driving right baseline. Shot clock to 2, and the Vikings won't get one off. It ends up out of bounds anyway, but it would have been a shot clock violation. The clock will stop with a minute left of regulation, and the Comets, with a 3-point play, would be able to take a 20-point lead at the end of the opening half, and it happened very quietly as the Vikings went cold from the field, and Mayville State just kept hitting shots. Mackenzie Hughes and 1. Hughes driving from the left side of the floor, scores off the reach-in foul from Elise Hebrink, and Hughes will go to the foul line after her 12th point with a chance to put the Comets up 20. 19-point Mayville State lead with 48.5 seconds left. And now Mackenzie Hughes to the foul line, looking for the bonus shot to give her a 3-point play, and she hits it calmly, coolly, collectively. 11 points now for Mackenzie Hughes. And it's 54-34 with Valley City State trailing Mayville State by a 20-point margin here in the opening half. An electric first quarter, but a very difficult second quarter. Another takeaway. Jess Mertens reaches in and takes a ball away, and Ashlyn Diemert commits a foul, trying to get the basketball back. Diemert's first, but the Vikings are already over the penalty, so this will put Jess Mertens on the foul line for 2 more free throws. Madison Wilhelmy set to come into the game for the Vikings. She'll replace Ellie Broughton in the Viking lineup. Wilhelmy checks in for Valley City State, a 5'5" sophomore guard out of Beach, North Dakota. Mertens' first foul shot is no good off the front iron. Mertens with 2 in the opening half of play. Big scores, Jordan Zrust 22. Mackenzie Hughes 11-12 for Greta Hillucka. Second foul shot is good for Jess Mertens. She's got 3. Lead is 21, 55-34. Taylor Dean steps in for the Comets, and can the Vikings do something to try to build a little momentum before they head down the locker room? Wilhelmy to the near side for Elise Hebrink off the left wing. Into the corner, Diemert. She'll try to bring the dribble back out towards the top. Hands it back to Hebrink. Shot clock 20 seconds. Hebrink on top. Right side, Haley Roberts. Hard take to the basket. Underneath, threw it away. Another turnover by the Vikings. They have not had a good look against Mayville State's defense in the second quarter. The Vikings broke it down and hit the shots in the first. That was really the big part of it. But we're going to take a look at that shooting percentage for the Vikings as halftime rolls around, and we're going to see a significant drop-off from first to second quarter. 10 seconds left. Hughes on the right side for Mayville State. Shuffle stepping away back to the top of the key with the lefty dribble. Hard to the rack. Deemer blocked the shot and fouled it. Deemer doesn't like it. Viking crowd doesn't like it. And Vanessa Johnson, the head coach of the Vikings, doesn't like it. And she has stepped out onto the floor to start talking to the official about it. And that conversation continues a little bit more intensity than perhaps you were expecting as Mackenzie Hughes knocks down her 12th point tonight, hitting the first of 2 shots. Vanessa Johnson continues to talk over that play with our official on the near side, and they are both getting rather animated, using their arms to talk, that type of thing. Mackenzie Hughes knocks down both ends. 13 points for Mackenzie Hughes. Conversation comes to an end. Hughes is withdrawn. We'll see the reemergence of Kayla Rockel, and the Vikings have 3.5 seconds trying to make something happen. Deemer, I don't think she's going to get this one off. She does not, and that's the end of the first half. And what a difference a quarter makes. 27 second quarter points for Mayville State after 30 in the first quarter. The Vikings had 26 in the first quarter, but 8 in the second quarter. And what was a fun, up and down, tight offensive game in the first quarter turned to a big Comet lead at the end of the first half. Your score on the LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard is Mayville State 57 and Valley City State 34. Our halftime report is brought to you by Rambo. We're in the business of making you look good. See Rambo for all of your promotional products for your business or for your team. Rambo, we're in the business of making you look good. We'll continue with that halftime report next. This is Viking basketball on the voice of the Vikings and the voice of the Valley, KOVC. Grotberg Electric believes in quality first, taking pride in the work and standing behind every project they do. They bring together the power, technology, and experience to keep your business online. The success of Grotberg Electric depends on 3 major ideals: the quality of their products, the commitment to their customers, and most of all, their customer service. Call Grotberg Electric today at 845-3010 or visit them online, grotbergelectric.com.
Lever's Foods, best quality, best price. Lever's Foods, best service, they're nice. Lever's Foods, they make everything right.
All this week at Lever's Foods in Valley City, save big on boneless beef bottom roast, $3.99 a pound. Extra large red or green seedless grapes, $1.99 a pound. Kellogg's cereals after coupon, just $1.88 a box. And Progresso Vegetable Classic Soup, 3 for only $4.98. Delivery is available by calling 845-1732. Lever's Foods, Valley City.
Hi, this is Clint from Central Avenue Health Mart Pharmacy in beautiful downtown Valley City, your only locally owned pharmacy since 1989. When you're locally owned, you care about your community and your customers. We offer a great selection of gifts and toys, as well as yarns, fabrics, sewing, and crafting. We are here for you from 9 to 5:30 weekdays and Saturdays 9 to 1. For all your pharmaceutical needs, give us a call, 845-5280.
Health Mart, taking time to listen and care. Sanford Health of Valley City is dedicated to transforming your healthcare experience and providing access to world-class healthcare right here in America's heartland. We're committed to improving the human condition at every stage of life through exceptional care, spiritual enhancement, innovation, and discovery. Schedule your appointment today at Sanford Health of Valley City by calling 701-845-6000 or self-schedule online at mysanfordchart.org. Sanford Health, here for all, here for good.
Valley City State University, it's an exciting time as we experience enrollment growth. Support of the VCSU V500 Scholarship Program is making a difference, now more than ever. This is Al LaFave, president of VCSU. This rich tradition of V500 is as much a part of our future as it is our past. Involvement in this program helps students succeed at VCSU. Please consider joining us with a membership today and keep VCSU moving forward. Visit give.vcsu.edu today to make a difference.
We welcome you to our Viking halftime report tonight, presented by Rambo from the W.E. Osmond Fieldhouse here at Valley City State. The Vikings felt like they were in this matchup with Mayville State at the end of the opening quarter. And then the second quarter came where the Vikings shot 3 of 13 from the field after an 11 of 19 first quarter. The Vikings were 3 of 13 the second quarter. You can credit some Comet defense for that. Mayville State really stepped up their defensive presence in that second quarter, but the Comets just kept humming along. They shot 64.7% in the first quarter, and for the game, they're shooting 64.3%, so just a little bit of a drop-off in that second quarter of play. But in the long run, Mayville State's playing like this is their home floor, and the Comets lead it now by a score of 57-34 on our LaRue Lanco Financial scoreboard as we take you to the break tonight. Our halftime report is brought to you by Rambo. We're in the business of making you look good. Ashlyn Diemert hit 3 threes in the opening quarter. Adriana Torres had an 8-point first. J.C. Richter had a 7-point first. And then the wheels fell off. Diemert didn't have a field goal in the second quarter. Torres and Richter both picked up 2 fouls apiece, and they were bench-ridden for the remainder of the half. Meantime, Mayville State took advantage of the penalty in the second quarter, shooting 13 of 15 from the foul line. So when you take a look at that total and you get an opportunity to shoot 15 foul shots, the Vikings got a chance to shoot 2. And part of that is because the Vikings really lived on that three-point line in the first half. They didn't go to the basket much. They struggled to get some penetration against the Comet 1-3-1 or 2-3 zone that they dropped into from time and again. And those factors just don't give the Vikings an opportunity to get the line much. In the long run, a couple of decent first halves for the Vikings, but a first half three-point shooting percentage of 5 of 9, but 14 of 32 from the field. And as we mentioned, 3 of 13 in that second quarter of basketball. And meanwhile, Mackenzie Hughes and Jordan's Rust just ate things up for the Comets as we take a look at the individual numbers into the opening half. Jordan's Rust is 6 of 10 from the field, 9 of 9 from the foul line. And so that turns, she was 1 of 1 from the three-point line. So you're looking at, 13 points in the first half on field goals. Then you tack on 9 of 9 from the foul line. And kids, that's how good scorers become great scorers. 22 points in the first half to go with 3 rebounds for Jordan's Rust. 15 points for Mackenzie Hughes, 3 boards. Greta Hileka with 12 points and a rebound as well. And tack on, an opportunity for some steals as well. Jess Mertens, Mackenzie Hughes combined for 5 steals, and the Comets had 7, but that's part of Mackenzie Hughes' game plan to create some turnovers, and Jess Mertens will do that on you as well with the speed they have. Mertens with 3, Alex Page with 3, C.J. Decker with 2. For Valley City State, Adriana Torres, leading first half scorer, 14 points, 9 points, 2 rebounds for Ashlyn Diemert and J.C. Richter. 3 rebounds for Haley Roberts in that opening half. Elise Hebrink had another nice half rebounding the basketball. 4 rebounds, including 3 offensive rebounds for a 5'5 guard, which continues to impress. Ellie Brodden tacked on the final 2 points of the opening quarter. The Vikings turned it over 15 times. Mayville State 11. Rebounding battle won by the Vikings 15-14, 6-2 on the offensive glass, but shooting percentage won by the Comets. Foul line won by the Comets. Turnover battle won by the Comets, and that leads to a big lead for the Comets at the end of the first half of play. That's your halftime summary brought to you by Rambo. Your score at the end of the first half is the Vikings trailing the Comets 57-34. We'll come back with a preview of our men's matchup as we continue with our halftime report presented tonight by Rambo. Stay with us. We'll get to that preview of men's play, the second half of our doubleheader here on a Wednesday night in just a couple of moments. And we'll get you back into action here at the W.E. Osmond Fieldhouse, where the Viking women will try to come up with a big turnaround in the second half. 57-34, Comets by 23. This is Viking basketball on the voice of the Vikings and the voice of the Valley, KOVC.
When you're craving the taste of juicy, flavorful, locally sourced beef and pork, look no further than your locally owned Valley Meat Supply. At Valley Meat Supply, we take pride in bringing you the finest cuts of beef and pork straight from local producers. So whether you're planning a mouth-watering barbecue or a cozy family meal, choose Valley Meat Supply for the highest quality, locally grown beef, pork, and award-winning jerky, sticks, and sausage. Valley Meat Supply, West Main, Valley City. Your taste buds will thank you.
Are you on the right financial path? Are all your financial professionals on the same page? At LaRue Lockout Financial, you can be assured that your investment professional and tax professional are working together. Call Ryan LaRue at 701-845-6938 or James M. Lockow at CPA 701-845-1660. Services offered through Investment Advisors, a division of Pro Equities Incorporated, a registered investment advisor, and securities offered through Pro Equities Incorporated, a registered broker-dealer and member FINRA and SIPC.
Every body is different. Some experience injuries, while others need extra support.
I'll help you, Grandma.
At Jamestown Regional Medical Center, your health is what matters most. Our orthopedics and sports medicine team care for you and your unique needs. Their goal is to help you live your best life. Choose Jamestown Regional Medical Center for care of hips, shoulders, knees, and broken bones. Learn more at jrmcnd.com/orthopedics.
Ivy Real Estate Group, your locally owned real estate brokerage, is cheering for the home team. Listen to KOVC for the Ivy Real Estate Group Player of the Game following every Valley City Highliner and VCSU Vikings game.
Why choose professional eye care centers? Let me count the whys. First, there are now 4 great doctors to see. Dr. Frank, Dr. Freilich, Dr. Jangela, and now welcoming Dr. Bond. Next is their many locations. You can now see one of their spectacular doctors in Jamestown, Valley City, Carrington, Edgeley, Ellendale, and Lemoore. And finally, their fantastic frame selection. And yes, all of their frames and lenses are backed up by warranty. Visit ProEyeCareCenters.com and make an appointment today. Professional Eye Care Centers, clearly the best.
Welcome back to Viking basketball, the voice of the Vikings and the voice of the Valley, KOVC, through a half of play tonight in our women's half of the doubleheader. Mayville State with a big lead over Valley City State, 57-34 at the break, 30-26 at the end of the opening quarter. Two teams combined for 56 first quarter points. It was tight after one, but Mayville State got on a roll, stayed on a roll, and the Vikings slowed down, 3 of 13 shooting in that second quarter from the field, really bogged down Valley City State at the end of that first half, or I should say rather during the second quarter leading up to the end of that first half. On the docket tonight following women's basketball will be the men's half of our doubleheader this evening. It'll be the Vikings and Mayville State, and the Comets have got to be wondering what they have to do to make the top 25. They're going to enter this matchup tonight with a solid record of 14-3, and they are 2-0. Inside conference play, Mayville State's the only team that's unbeaten in the league now after just a sample size of 2 or 3 games. Dakota State's 2-1. They had a loss after 2 games, and Bellevue, well, they had a couple of losses last weekend, so they had a loss after 2 games as well. And so it's going to be a very competitive league that we have going on. Mayville State 2-0, and the front runner inside men's basketball right now, that overall record of 14-3. The Vikings come in 9-7 on the overall campaign, and they will enter 1-1 inside conference play. The new NAIA men's basketball poll came out, and boy, you would have thought Mayville State, an opportunity to crack it. There must be some really, really good basketball being played elsewhere. Mayville State got only 17 poll points with a 14-3 record, which is a little disappointing if you're a member of the conference, because you're looking for someone to step up and get a little bit of attention, and no one did. So from this standpoint of the North Star Athletic Association, and it's going to be tough. You're really going to have to step out. You know, they know that we got 2 years left in the league, and then the league folds up, and everybody's going to go their separate ways. And if any of you, and this is the way that they're looking at you from the national perspective, if any of you are thinking about making a break for it and heading off to something like the Division II level or the Division III level, well, maybe you're just not going to get the kiss from the Raiders this year. And Mayville State might be in somewhat of that situation, a 14-3 record and no chance to break themselves into the top 25. Again, a little bit disappointing for the conference, but nonetheless, conference champion moves on to the national tournament, and so we'll see what happens with the Vikings and the Comets tonight in the second half of our doubleheader. Now that game is scheduled for a 7:30 tip-off. Stay tuned, and we'll tell you more about what our launch time for the abbreviated pregame report will be coming up after women's basketball tonight. But it's 57-34, the Comets by 23 over the Vikings at the end of a half. Second half is on the way next between the Vikings and the Comet women. This is Viking basketball, the voice of the Vikings and the voice of the Valley, KOVC. Grotberg Electric believes in quality first, taking pride in the work and standing behind every project they do. They bring together the power, technology, and experience to keep your business online. The success of Grotberg Electric depends on three major ideals: the quality of their products, the commitment to their customers, and most of all, their customer service. Call Grotberg Electric today at 845-3010 or visit them online, grotbergelectric.com.
Lever's Foods, best quality, best price. Lever's Foods, best service, they're nice. Lever's Foods, they make everything right.
All this week at Lever's Foods in Valley City, save big on boneless beef bottom roast, $3.99 a pound. Extra large red or green seedless grapes, $1.99 a pound. Kellogg's cereals after coupon, just $1.88 a box. And Progresso Vegetable Classic Soup, 3 for only $4.98. Delivery is available by calling 845-1732. Lever's Foods, Valley City.
Hi, this is Clint from Central Avenue Health Mart Pharmacy in beautiful downtown Valley City, your only locally owned pharmacy since 1989. When you're locally owned, you care about your community and your customers. We offer a great selection of gifts and toys, as well as yarns, fabrics, sewing, and crafting. We are here for you from 9 to 5:30 weekdays and Saturdays 9 to 1. For all your pharmaceutical needs, give us a call, 845-5280.
Health Mart, taking time to listen and care.
Post-game report tonight, we will select our Ivy Real Estate Group Player of the Game. That award acknowledges an outstanding performance by a Viking tonight, and they're saluting the home team at Ivy Real Estate Group, your only locally owned real estate brokerage in Valley City. That happens at our post-game report tonight. Comets with the basketball. The Vikings trying to climb their way back in to a deficit of 23 at 57-34. Jess Mertens will be fouled by Adriana Torres, and that's going to produce a problem spot for the Vikings as Torres picks up her third foul 12 seconds into the third quarter. A long look on the floor with Vanessa Johnson, has a bit of a smile on her face. The head coach of the Vikings must be using that as a bit of a facade, because that is not the play that you wanted to see happen. And now a double dribble against Jess Mertens, trying to decide between pass or bring. And she ends up passing with two hands down to the floor first. Going to call that a jump, or actually a double dribble. And so the Vikings will get it back on a turnover. So an inauspicious start for both teams, where the Vikings are the one with the foul trouble. And now they'll turn it over again, will the Vikings. Ashlyn Deemer trying to work back to Ellie Broughton, who brought the ball to the front court. And the pass was behind Broughton and just sails along and out of bounds on the near sideline. So the Comets are back up front with possession. Still a 23-point lead for Mayville State. Mertens on the top of the key. Crossover dribble stepping into the paint. A work towards the right side for Hughes. Rust stepping into the basket, scores. 24 big points tonight for Jordan's Rust, and it's a 25-point Comet lead at 59-34. Broughton on top for Valley City State. Ellie Roberts into the right corner, finding J.C. Richter. Richter had a first half come to a close due to foul trouble. Torres with a foul line jump shot missed, turns into a held ball. Arrow's going to favor the Vikings here. J.C. Richter had a promising start to the night, had 9 points early in the second quarter, getting an opportunity to start this game this evening, and then foul trouble put her on the bench. And that led to what could have been some valuable minutes being taken away from her in the first half. A drive by Roberts, she got to the basket, missed it. Zrust comes up with a trickle rebound off the heel of the rim. And the Comets are closing in on a 30-point lead. The Vikings in some trouble early in this second half. Hughes on top, Zrust stepping left, trying to rotate back to the corner. Finds C.J. Decker on the left side of the floor. Reversal back to Zrust on the wing. Shot clock approaching 15. Comets really not in a hurry. Zrust cuts to the foul line. With a shot clock at 10, she drives and misses off the rim, then fights for a rebound and deflects it back to the perimeter. Hughes stares down a three. That's in and out, won't go. This time the rebound to J.C. Richter for Valley City State. Vikings up front, down 25. On top, the ball with Haley Roberts stepping in. Hard take to the basket. It was deflected, but picked up by Deemer. Put it back. Actually, correction, that's Richter on the weak side. And Richter will score and go to the foul line. Another big play for J.C. Richter. Saw Deemert coming out of there, but Deemert ends up being kind of the front of that one, and a couple of big bodies from Mayville State in front of us. You couldn't tell whose arms those were that were going up to the basket. Richter misses the foul shot, but J.C. Richter with 11 points tonight, and the Vikings cut the lead back to 23 at 59-36. There's some advantages to sitting courtside. Every once in a while, though, it lets you down. I like it, though. Decker down to the corner. 3 by Jess Mertens, left corner strong. And the weak side rebound to Haley Roberts for the Vikings. She'll go behind the back with a dribble. Valley City State back into the front court. A stop against the Comet 2-3 zone. Into the middle of that zone, Richter stepping from the foul line. Spin move, double pivot, pulls up on Walker and scores. And there's Richter with 13. I don't think J.C. Richter was expected to be this big a force by the Comets tonight. Vikings drop back into 1-3-1. Decker a stop. Mertens taking the basketball towards the right corner. A stop, a look towards Walker on the right side. Zrust coming back left wing. Decker back into Zrust, backing away down the baseline. She's hit by a double down as Deemer closes the gate. Ball back out towards the top. Mertens a kick out. Hughes all day. Those are usually tough ones to miss. And this time she comes up just short. They left her wide open and she came up empty. A drive up the floor for Haley Roberts and the Vikings, who are down 21, trying to cut this thing under 20. Instead, the ball given up in a foul. Ellie Broughton lost the basketball, put some hard hands into one of the Comets and gets called for her third foul. 3 on Torres, 3 on Broughton. Torres remains in the game. Broughton will be withdrawn. Madison Wilhelmy comes into the matchup for Valley City State. Ball ends up back in the hands of the Comets, and Alex Page, who re-enters the game for the Vikings, will inbound on the far sideline. Decker will take the inbounds pass for Valley City State. Torres is waiting for her. Ball comes back to the near side. Hughes, Rust on the foul line. Kick out, Alex Page, catch and shoot in rhythm. Missed it strong off the heel of the rim. Ashlyn Deemert pulls down a long rebound for the Vikings. And Valley City State's back up, still down 21. And here's a foul as C.J. Decker came over the top. Tried to take a ball away from Ashlyn Deemert, and Decker will be called for a foul. Decker's going to come out as well. C.J. Decker will pick up her first of the night, and we'll see Taylor Dean coming back into the matchup. Madison Wilhelmy to inbound, catch and shoot for Deemert on the 3. Well short, but there's an O-board underneath the Wilhelmy. Vikings go back to work. It didn't draw iron. Torres inside, driving down, turn, fall away on Page. Banked it strong. This time Rust has the rebound for Mayville State. Scoreboard continues at 59-38 Comets. 6:25 to play in the third quarter on the LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard. Roberts defends the ball out of bounds, and it will stay Mayville State University basketball. Inbounds play will come in from Hughes. It works to Alex Page on top. Right side, Taylor Dean. Bounce past the high elbow, and we're going to see a foul coming up against J.C. Richter. Richter will pick up her third, trying to press a basketball from behind on the right elbow as Mayville State attacked that high post in the middle of the Viking zone. And now the Vikings with all kinds of foul trouble to contemplate. Broughton on the bench with 3, but Richter and Torres each playing with 3 right now. On top, Taylor Dean takes the inbounds pass for Mayville State. Comets working right to left. Zrust a crossover low, ankle high. Turns it back to Page into the left corner. A stop by Hillucka and a post-entry pass back down to Zrust from Page. Zrust turning and missing with the left hand. A rebound foul. Zrust is going to be called on the back of the Vikings inside. And Jordan Zrust has her second personal foul. 59-38, Mayville State with a 21-point lead, another very low-scoring quarter of basketball now after a high-octane first quarter that saw a 30-26 lead for Mayville State when neither team could miss. High-low, Torres taking, knocking it down. Richter with the assist. And a big play for Torres inside to score her 16th. And the lead has been cut to 19 at 59-40. Hughes a stop, Page on the right side, looking down to the post, kicks out instead to Hillucka. A 3 nibbles off. Jordan Zrust an O-board standing tall on the post. Her putback goes, and she'll go to the foul line. Zrust hits on an offensive rebound stick back. Madison Wilhelmy, her first foul. Jordan Zrust with 26. And the Vikings are back down 21 just as they were trying to dig up some momentum. They had scored 6 in a row to cut a 25-point lead to 19. Zrust completes the three-point play. She's got 27. The lead is 22 for the Comets at 62-40. 5.5 left to go here in the third quarter. Stop by Wilhelmy. A drive by Deemert. Pull up just inside the three-point line that's missed. Another O-board for Richter. J.C. Richter muscling her way inside with 15 points. Richter has rebounded the ball so well for the Vikings during this 3-game clip where she's played extraordinarily well. Zrust inside off a bump. Page left corner to Taylor Dean, who drives her way down the baseline. Big Euro step, missed it short. Rebound deflected out to the perimeter. Wilhelmy goes to get it. She's trapped, and a timeout taken by Valley City State. Timeout for Mobility Plus Rehabilitation. It's a 20-point lead for the Comets at 62-42 with 4:59 left to go until halftime. On our LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard, this is Viking basketball on the Voice of the Vikings and the Voice of the Valley, KOVC.
This is Dr. Ryan Lorenz, physical therapist at Mobility Plus Rehabilitation with offices in Enderlin, Lisbon, Gwinner, and Valley City. Our mission is to provide exceptional physical and occupational therapy by highly skilled therapists to minimize pain and maximize mobility, which quickly allows you to return to the quality of life you desire. We will evaluate and educate you on your condition, review treatment options, and create an effective treatment plan to solve your impairments based on your unique situation and needs. I invite you to call our offices at Mobility Plus today.
Sanford Health of Valley City is dedicated to transforming your healthcare experience and providing access to world-class healthcare right here in America's heartland. We're committed to improving the human condition at every stage of life through exceptional care, spiritual enhancement, innovation, and discovery. Schedule your appointment today at Sanford Health of Valley City by calling 701-845-6000 or self-schedule online at mysanfordchart.org. Sanford Health, here for all, here for good.
Vikings down 20, 62-42. They call for timeout halfway through the third quarter against Mayville State. Welcome back to the W.E. Osmond Fieldhouse. Ryan Cunningham with you. KOVC Sports tonight. Ashlyn Deemer to head fake and a drive off the dribble from 17. The Vikings need her to score again. Ashlyn Deemer with 11. Didn't score in the second quarter. And the Vikings cut a one-time 25-point lead to 18 at 62-44. Alex Page, left corner, looking at a three. Knocks it down. Alex Page stepping out in the left corner, draining her second three-point shot tonight. Lead back to 21. That's one of those possessions where if you're the Viking D, you really have to get a stop in that sequence, score again, and start to put some doubt into it. Now need another stop and a couple of possessions to score back-to-back. There's a score. Haley Roberts driving to the baseline, hitting a little teardrop from a tough angle off the side of the rim rather than in front of it. And the lead is cut to 19 at 65-56. Hughes, right corner to Page. Head fake by Alex Page, rotating back inside. Taylor Dean in the zone. Back out to Zrust. She hits the long-range, mid-range jumper. Off the baseline, eyeing one up from the right side of the floor. Jordan Zrust has 29. Stretching her range a little bit. She's a penetration-type player. Does hit the three. Don't see her in that spot often. Richter back to the basket, falling away, scoring over Alex Page. That's 5'6", over 6 feet tall. J.C. Richter's just found a way to get it done tonight. 17, 8 in the third quarter for J.C. Richter. Vikings back within 19 at 67-48. Little flow to the game again here. Haluka, left corner, Mackenzie Hughes takes the three, misses off the front. Here's a chance for the Vikings, down 19, back into the front court. Roberts wants to go the distance, leaves one up for Torres, backs up, fires and scores. Adriana Torres with 18, and the Vikings have cut the lead to 17. Can you get one more stop and try to cut it to 15, which would be the next benchmark to get into it? Haluka for three is an air ball. Roberts comes up with a rebound, then turns it over. Ball goes onto the floor. Hughes ripped it away. Comets with it. Haluka gets a look at a three. That one's off the backside. And J.C. Richter the board. Here's a chance for the Vikings, a chance to cut this lead, and they turn it over again. Madison Wilhelmi with a long pass that's turned over. Mackenzie Hughes gets up in transition and is fouled from behind. The Vikings had two opportunities in that sequence to get up the floor, and they made two very ill-advised passes. Madison Wilhelmi is called for her second personal foul. And both of those were unforced errors. The Vikings have to know when you're in that situation, there's a real moment here. You got a chance to cut this to 15. It was a 22-point lead at one point, 23, actually 25. Early in this half, Mackenzie Hughes knocks down the first foul shot, 16 points for Mackenzie Hughes. And the lead is 68-50. Lead back to 18 for the Comets with 2:42 to go. Second foul shot makes it 69-50 as Mackenzie Hughes is good for 17 tonight. She'll step off the floor, replaced by C.J. Decker. 69-50, Comets on the LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard from the W.E. Osmond Fieldhouse. 2.5 minutes left to go here in the third. Ellie Broughton will come back into the matchup for the Vikings, playing with 3 fouls. Broughton, 12-foot jumper off the dribble. Missed it. An offensive rebound again for Elise Hebring. How she reads that rebounding that well. A three by Deemert is good from the top of the key. Ashlyn Deemert stepping into a three from the top. She's got 14. Lead cut back to 16 at 69-53. Decker to the elbow to Zrust on the baseline. The turn, left it short. And coming up with the catch, Deemert for the Vikings. Here's a chance to cut it under 15 for Valley City State. A look towards the right corner. Torres back in the game. Torres driving into the lane. Ball knocked away from behind. This will stay Viking basketball. The Vikings were down by 10 to Bellevue going into the fourth quarter on Saturday and came back to win that game. You feel like they got into that kind of range, they could be in it again. Right now down 16. A kick to Broughton on the top of the key, and now a three by Diemert, well short. Rebound to Rockel for Mayville State, and the Comets will come into the front court with possession, and Rockel's running quickly and a foul. Oh boy, Adriana Torres reaching over the top, coming back towards the right side and reaching in to try to get that basketball. Looks like she's committed her fourth. Torres, number 4, 18 points for Torres tonight. No move to the bench as of yet. Now we'll see Haley Roberts checking back into the game. One thing that stands out about the Vikings tonight, they have played a very, very short lineup. They played 9 players tonight, but Ellie Powell and Katie Johnson only for really one shift apiece, and Madison Wilhelmy for really just a couple, as the first foul shot is missed by Kayla Rockel. But this has been, if you went to the old university line of full-time equivalencies, about a 6.5-person lineup tonight, really, for Valley City State. Second foul shot for Rockels off the heel, and she committed a lane violation. So another chance for the Vikings to cut this lead under 15. 69-53, the Vikings by 16, 150 left to go in the third quarter. Valley City State up front, Broughton. Right side, finding Haley Roberts. Roberts was held, drives in, kicks it out to the top. Richter's tripped, and Kayla Rockel will pick up the foul. Rockel had held Roberts on her way through on the initial part of that play. Didn't get tagged, so then she comes back out defensively there and does get the whistle. And we'll see Mackenzie Hughes jumping back on the floor from Mayville State. Broughton to inbound, right corner, finding Elise Hebrink. Hebrink a stop, rotation back to the top of the key, finds Haley Roberts. She looks in, Richter's in the post against Rockel, or correction, Walker. Little Euro step, counted and one. There's another bucket for J.C. Richter inside. Posting up against bigger players, and her spin move and her pivot foot has caused all kinds of problems for the Comets tonight. And another bucket for Richter gives her a 10-point quarter, a 19-point game, and this to cut the Comet lead to 13, and it's good. J.C. Richter completes the three-point play. 11 in the frame, 20 for the game, and it's 69-56. The Comet lead down from 25 to 13. 1:20 to go here in the third. Hilaka with the basketball left wing for Mayville State. A stop coming back to Erin Walker on the top of the key. Decker left side, jab stepping right, back to Hilaka right corner. Right now Decker from the right side hits a big three-point shot. Mayville State needed that. C.J. Decker, her first three ball to go through tonight. Lead back to 16 at 72:56, a minute to go, and we'll see a foul coming up, and Walker had hands on Richter before Richter got the basketball. Walker's first, but right now Erin Walker is unable to win that matchup inside with J.C. Richter. And the thing is, Alex Page is going to come into the game, but Alex Page really hasn't been able to win it tonight either, as this has been J.C. Richter's night in the post for Mayville State, or rather for Valley City State, at 5 feet 6 inches tall. First foul shot good for J.C. Richter. Richter now 21 points in the game. The Vikings back within 15 at 72-57. Richter eyes up the second foul shot. That one double kisses in, so having a better night from the foul line now as well as J.C. Richter. 22 big points tonight for Richter. Lead cut to 14 at 72-58. A step up with a basketball, Decker, right side Page. Catch and shoot three, hits it again. That's the thing about Mayville State. They've got plenty of players that can step out and just hit another one on you. 75-58, lead back to 17. A ball out of bounds off of the Comets as Haley Roberts tries to drive baseline. 40.4 seconds left of the third. And we'll see a change by the Comets as Jess Mertens, who was out for a while, will come in replacing Jordan's Rust. Rust will get a breather towards the end of the third quarter and be fresh for the fourth. On top, Ashlyn Deemer, jab stepping her way to the right, moving left. Comes back to Broughton on the right side of the floor. Court wide, Roberts looking backdoor baseline. Instead stops in the lane, little hook shot. That was well short, but there's Richter again. J.C. Richter reaches up, grabs the loose basketball. 15 points in the quarter, 24 in the game for J.C. Richter. The lead again cut to 15 at 75-60. Three by Hilaka on the right side as an air ball. We got a rebound foul. They're going to call Deemert on this one. It looks like they will. Diemert and Hughes had been locked up in a physical battle, and they're going to call that one on Ashlyn Diemert. Diemert's third. That's the fifth against the Vikings, so this will put Hughes on the foul line to take the penalty. I'm not sure what was called there. There was a pretty physical battle going on, just kind of hip to hip there. Hughes at the line. Number one is good. Mackenzie Hughes, multi-sport athlete for the Thompson Tommies, and she's a multi-sport athlete at Mayville State. A very good softball player. She had 6 home runs in her first year as a softball player from Mayville State, and of course was a Miss Basketball candidate in North Dakota during the high school basketball career. Lead is 16 at 76-60. A pull up from the elbow by Diemert that won't fall. There's a rebound tussle. Richter won that rebound but can't get the shot away before the horn, and that's going to take us to the fourth quarter. A better third quarter for the Vikings. They put 26 more on the board. They cut a 25-point lead at 1 point to 14. It's now 16 at 76-60.
Hey college students, are you looking for a part-time job that works around your schedule, pays well, and gives you free money for college every year? McDonald's offers all of it. We can work around your schedule, and we give $2,500 scholarships to everyone who works for 3 months and averages 15 hours per week. That's 2 full shifts a week or 3 shifts of 5 hours. It's that easy. We've already given out more than $75,000 to students in North Dakota this year. Let us help you become the next scholarship recipient. Come join our team. Text ND29 to 38000 to apply today.
You live life on the move. While you determine what direction that may be, we're here to help along the way. So go. Go with values. Go with friends. Go with support. Go with convenience.
Valley Meat Supply, West Main, Valley City. Your taste buds will thank you.
Valley City State trails Mayville State 76-60 after 3 quarters of play. Welcome back to the W.E. Osmond Fieldhouse tonight. Viking basketball on the voice of the Vikings and the voice of the Valley, KOVC. Jess Mertens will inbound the basketball to C.J. Decker for the Comets to start the fourth quarter. The Comets led by 25 and had that lead cut down to 14 for a moment. But they were able to rebuild it back to around an 18-point lead before the Vikings took one more chisel to it at the end of that third quarter of basketball. Hughes in the top of the key for Mayville State, reversing back to Mertens off the right side. Couple of crossovers. Mertens looks down low, threw it away. There's a takeaway for J.C. Richter at a huge third quarter of basketball. Richter, the hesitation dribble on Mertens, had the ball knocked loose, kicks it out. Diemert's got an open look at a three. It's off the heel of the rim, and Decker comes up with a rebound for Mayville State. Broughton reaches in, looking to tie it up, and it's finally ripped free by Jess Mertens for the Comets. Mackenzie Hughes crossover dribble into the front court for Mayville State. Backdoor Page, reverse layup, missed it strong. Another rebound picked up by J.C. Richter. She has had an unbelievable night. J.C. Richter went off for 13 points in the third quarter. She's got the game high for the Vikings at 22. She's in the left post against Page with the basketball. A stop and a look to the perimeter. Ball nearly thrown away, but Diemert found it. Diemert curls away to the right side of the lane, goes scoop, and Alex Page knocked that away. Numbers after 3 quarters. Jordan's Rust with 29 points, 8 rebounds to lead the way for Mayville State. Mackenzie Hughes, 18 points, 4 boards for the Comets. The Vikings with 24 points and 9 rebounds for J.C. Richter. She's got 1 here in the fourth quarter, so she should have a double-double here tonight. Diemert picks up a loose ball, throws up a 3 that's well short. Broughton, Hebrink looking for a tie-up on the board. It's a held ball, and the Vikings will take this one on the possession arrow. And Jordan's Rust momentarily out. We'll come back in. 18 points for Adriana Torres, 14.6 rebounds for Ashlyn Diemert, but the Vikings have committed 18 turnovers tonight. However, they have 13 offensive rebounds to Mayville State's 5. Inbounds pass will come in from Broughton. If not for a disastrous shooting second quarter, this will be a very different basketball game. With the ball on the right side will be Haley Roberts. She'll look left corner to Elise Hebrink. A stop, kick out right through Diemert's hands and into the crowd. And this will go back to the Comets. That'll be turnover number 19. Richter, 10 of 11 from the field, hit a 3. Is 3 of 4 from the foul line. As we mentioned, 9 rebounds, including 5 offensive rebounds. That was after 3 quarters. She has another offensive board here. Page, a left corner 3 for Mayville State, does it again. Alex Page now with 12 on the night, all on 3-point shots. She's got one mission when she's on the floor, and that's to hit that three-point shot, and she does it well. Little scoop by Diemert, comes up strong off the edge of the rim. Rust comes down with a rebound for the Comets and wants to lead the troop back into the front court. A kick left corner. Decker drew a pair of defenders. Works baseline on a drive. Reverses back to Page. Takes it in. Kicks it out. Mackenzie Hughes left wing splitting two defenders. Got to the glass. Missed it too strong. I think Hughes was anticipating that she would be fouled in that situation and didn't get the bump she was looking for, but she comes right back, stole the ball, and then stepped on the sideline. And that's just a hustle play that you get from Mackenzie Hughes. I had a chance to watch her play as a high school student, both volleyball and basketball for a couple of years, and there's only one gear on that engine for Mackenzie Hughes. Her family's very loyal to Mayville State. Here she comes up with a steal on a pass from Broughton. Hughes is all by herself. Oh, and she missed one off the bottom of the rim. And she's already dreading hearing about that one from Dad, who's in attendance tonight. That was just a tough one. Roberts, the left corner, high arcing three. She hits it for Valley City State. And the Vikings will call for timeout as a three from Haley Roberts will cut it to a 16-point margin. 79-63, the Comets by 16 on the LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard. Timeout Vikings. This is Viking basketball on KOVC.
Rambo, a proud sponsor and fan of Viking Athletics, has been serving North Dakota, South Dakota, and Minnesota with quality logoed apparel and promotional products since 1979. With online store options built to meet the needs of your company, organization, or team, Rambo will ensure that the process of ordering is easy and accurate and that your items are received on time. When you're ready to put your logo to work, give Matt a call at 701-680-9585. Rambo, we're in the business of making you look good.
Timeout taken by Valley City State after a three-point shot goes down for Haley Roberts. Roberts at 8.7 points per game for the Vikings and has had a hard time scoring lately. Ashlyn Diemert, 13.9. Adriana Torres, 10.4, 5.4 boards. Torres had a nice night tonight. 79-63. The Comets by 16 over the Vikings after a Viking three-point shot. The Comets with a basketball. He'll luck out of the timeout. Behind the back pass again, or actually dribble against Wilhelmy, and Madison Wilhelmy is going to be called for a reach-in foul. The Vikings have three fouls now on Ellie Broughton, Ashlyn Diemert, Madison Wilhelmy, and J.C. Richter. Adriana Torres has not yet come back into the game. She's got four fouls. And right now, Vanessa Johnson trying to measure when the best time is to go all in. Here's a foul against Hebrink, trying to deny Jordan Rust the basketball. And now that'll put Hebrink in the three-foul club as well. That's the second against the Vikings here in the quarter. Mayville State has been called for only 8 fouls total tonight, and the Vikings have had much more difficulty playing cleanly. Hughes running off a screen, kicking right side. Hillucka's open for three, drains it. Greta Hillucka knocks down a three. That's her 5th three tonight. And the lead is 82-63, back to a 19-point edge for Mayville State. Elise Hebrink ball faking towards the post, takes the dribble right side. Roberts looking at a rather baseline drive. Then she got cut off by Rust. Court wide pass looking for Diemert in the left corner. Diemert steps in the lane, works it back to the corner for Hebrink. Back to Diemert, shot clock 10 seconds. Diemert driving in off the glass, trying to go high bank. Missed it, another rebound for Richter. A spin back to the basket. That one goes for J.C. Richter. She's got 26. J.C. Richter with 26 points, well over the double-double in rebounds. She had 9 coming into the frame. We have her unofficially for 11. That should be 7 0 boards tonight for J.C. Richter. Lead cut to 17 at 82-65. Clock down to 6:10 to play fourth quarter. Jordan's Rust and a foul. Hand check against Haley Roberts. It's the second on Roberts. The Viking crowd is letting the official know about it. That call took place right in front of the Viking student section. In fact, one of the Vikings across the way, I believe, has the word goon written on his hat. That could be a rather interesting night tonight with that Viking student section that's across from the Comet student section. And as we know, there's never any problems there. Alex Page reversing to Hughes into Decker. Decker will pop a foul line jumper and hits it. C.J. Decker now with 7. Lead 19 again at 84-65. With 5.5 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter. Roberts into the high post for Richter. Driving on Page. High off the glass. Can't get it to go. Drew the foul. Alex Page will be called for it. Good take to the basket by J.C. Richter. Left it just strong. Alex Page with her second. And with 5:41 left, Richter just trying to make it a big night. She's 4 away from a 30-point performance. And her first start of the season. First foul shot, no good. JC, the libero for the Viking volleyball team, and the Viking volleyball team had a few extra weeks to play this year, getting the national tournament bid, then winning at Central Methodist, and that drew it out even a couple of weeks longer as they waited to go down to Sioux City, Iowa, and play in the national tournament. So Richter's always been a dual sport athlete at Valley City State, but had to wait some more just to find her way into a Viking basketball uniform this year. She hits the back end. Mackenzie Hughes drives and leaves one short off the heel of the rim. Richter comes up with a rebound for the Vikings in a foul blocking style against C.J. Decker, trying to hold up Ashlyn Deemert coming into the front court. Viking men's basketball is next. We'll have it for you with a presumed tip-off time of 7:30. Probably going to be a little bit later than that, but pretty close to on time tonight, I would think. Wilhelmy, right side to Hebrink off the inbounds play for the Vikings. Haley Roberts on the left wing. Behind the back dribble, working left, got to the baseline. Tries to curl away. She got trapped in the corner by a double team, but was able to turn it back to Deemert. They look into Richter. She's open again. High-low play. Richter scores again inside. 29 points for the young lady out of Linton, North Dakota, the former Linton HMB Lion. 29 for Richter. And the Vikings are back within 16 at 84-68. Ball left corner, a turn by Hughes and a kick back to Decker in the corner. Decker crossover, stop, pivot, looks down, Rust cutting to the basket. There she is again. 31 for Jordan's Rust at a timeout taken by Mayville State. The lead back to 18 for the Comets with 4:47 left in the LaRue-Lacko Financial scoreboard. It's 86-68, Mayville State over Valley City State. And we have a timeout for Mobility Plus Rehabilitation. This is Viking basketball, the voice of the Vikings and the voice of the Valley, KOVC.
CHI Mercy Health in Valley City strives to bring you quality health care close to home. They're bringing in mammography services, extended their occupational therapy program, and updated physical therapy and emergency room spaces. They're currently seeking to fill a number of positions. To find out more, head to chimercyhealth.org under the Careers tab. CHI Mercy Health Valley City, voted top 100 critical access hospital and one of the first in the nation designated as an acute cardiac-ready hospital, providing quality health care close to home.
Are you on the right financial path? Are all your financial professionals on the same page? At LaRue-Lacko Financial, you can be assured that your investment professional and tax professional are working together. Call Ryan LaRue at 701-845-6938 or James M. Lockow at CPA 701-845-1660. Services offered through Investment Advisors, a division of Pro Equities Incorporated, a registered investment advisor, and securities offered through Pro Equities Incorporated, a registered broker-dealer and member FINRA and SIPC.
(86-68) Mayville State over Valley City State. 4:40 left to go in the fourth quarter in the women's half of our doubleheader tonight. Deemert for three, left corner out of the timeout. Ashlyn Deemert steps into a three and has her 17th point tonight. 5 threes for Deemert tonight, following up 8 that she had back on Saturday afternoon against Bellevue. And the Comets have their lead trimmed to 15. It's 86-71, Mayville State. Handoff to Hillucka on the right side of the floor for the Comets. Looking right corner, Mackenzie Hughes dribbling off towards the top. Found her way to Rust, working left. Hard take down the left side of the paint. Works her way back underneath the block. 33 for Jordan's Rust tonight. And a lot of damage from the foul line, although it's 10 of 10 from the foul line. She was 9 of 9 at the end of the opening half, so that damage has slowed a bit. Torres back in the game with 4 fouls, bodying up on Rust, looking for a 14-foot fall away and missed it. Jess Mertens clears out the rebound for the Comets. And Mayville State's back in the front court with 3:45 to go. Hillucka 3 again. That one's good from the right wing. 18 for Greta Hillucka. And it's a 20-point lead now for the Comets at 91-71. Wilhelmy working down low, able to find J.C. Richter in the post. Richter wants high-low, couldn't find it. Hands back to Hebrink, who sprints away to the paint, and a travel coming up against Hebrink after she was cut off by Jess Mertens and tried to make the extra spin. Haley Roberts back in to replace Hebrink. Again, the rotation's been really short tonight. Roberts, Richter, Torres, Deemert, Wilhelmy, and a little bit of Broughton obviously as well, but then just spells off the bench. I don't know if this is a signal of things to come for other players for the Vikings this year. A 3 left corner by Mackenzie Hughes is off the front rim, and a rebound taken down by Haley Roberts for Valley City State with 3:05 to go. Rosie Anderson not in the game tonight. Ellie Powell just briefly, another throwaway, this time by Roberts. Wilhelmy catches up from behind and takes one away from Mackenzie Hughes. Haven't seen Rosie Anderson at all. Just one brief run through the gear for Katie Johnson back on the bench. Ellie Powell, one brief run through and back on the bench as well. So the Vikings have really shortened their lineup tonight, which you kind of expect when you get closer maybe to tournament time. And you got to have a rotation set for conference play, obviously. Mertens driving and missing. Torres had the rebound and got fouled by Jess Mertens. And the Vikings will keep the basketball. So you've got to have a rotation that you like, but when you're at maybe 6.5 players, that's a thin rotation. Now, you can make it happen, but you see what happens when you're in a thin rotation and it's some foul trouble in that second quarter. The Vikings found foul trouble, consolidated their weapons, and they ended up coming up with just an 8-point second quarter. Jordan's Rust with a takeaway and a post-entry pass and gets fouled going to the basket by Haley Roberts. That'll be the 5th against the Vikings and should put Jordan's Rust on the foul line to continue her outstanding night for Mayville State. Again, a 19.6 points per game player. She is a perennial all-conference player and first team and maybe player of the year material. First foul shot's on the way and no good this time. It's her first miss in 10 tries from the foul line tonight for Jordan's Rust. They've got 4 fouls on the board, so that was not the 5th against the Vikings. They no longer have a foul to give. Second foul shot is good for Rust. That'll give her 34, but she was on the shot was the official ruling. Thus the 2 foul shots. Katie Johnson back in the game for the Vikings. Torres, baseline move, stopping on the block, looking for help. She's cut off on the right side of the floor. Threw it up for grabs. It was deflected, and Mackenzie Hughes comes up with a takeaway. The Vikings, when they look at the final sheet on this one too, the takeaways are really going to be a factor that hindered them tonight. Hughes driving in, and a ball knocked away by Madison Wilhelmy. Takeaway for the Vikings. Wilhelmy ranging up into the front court, handing it back to Deemer. Deep 3 from the top. It's off the heel. Filled, wouldn't fall. Decker takes a long rebound with 2 minutes left to go now in the fourth quarter. And the Comets looking to close in on their 14th win of the season. We'll see a foul on the floor as Mackenzie Hughes is about to get open in the post. Ashlyn Deemert will commit it. And that'll be Deemert's 4th foul tonight. Comets came in with a really solid record into this one and now making more of a standpoint towards that number 13 ranking that they had in the latest NAIA National Basketball Poll. Looking for their 14th win versus 2 losses on the season. Mackenzie Hughes with 19 as she hits the front end. She hasn't had a field goal in the second half tonight. Second foul shot will give her 19 at holding. She had a couple of takes to the basket, hit the bottom of the rim, maybe rushed things a little bit, anticipating some contact she didn't get. Lead 22 at 93-71, 3 by Katie Johnson. Fouled, and it looks like Katie Johnson is going to the foul line for 3 opportunities. Jordan's Rust will be called for her 3rd. Vikings on the verge of their overall record slipping to 7-10. And they would go to 1-2 inside conference play. Taylor Dean has come back in the matchup for Mayville State, and Sydney Brecken, 6-foot senior out of Hillsboro, North Dakota, finds her way in. First foul shot for Katie Johnson will not fall. Second for Johnson will not fall. Boy, you don't want to miss all 3 if you're fouled on a 3-point shot. Katie Johnson, the former Yellow Jacket from Perham, Minnesota, looks at the 3rd. That one will go. Katie Johnson with her first point tonight. Lead is 93-72 with 1 minute and 42 seconds remaining. C.J. Decker up front for Mayville State. Working right side, hard take to the corner for Rust. Rust stepping up, left elbow, drives her way in on Richter, back to the basket, got around her, count it, and 1. She threw that up from the back of her head. That's an unbelievable play for Jordan's Rust. And Jordan's Rust has had a 36-point night. She'll draw the foul against J.C. Richter, her 4th. And this will put Rust on the foul line to complete a 3-point play. Aaron Walker set to come in for the shooter in this sequence. 36 for Rust, trying to make it 37. She does not. The foul shot's missed, and Richter with the rebound. That'll pad Richter's rebounding numbers tonight. 95-72. Comet lead is 23. It's been even throughout the second half. It was a 23-point lead at halftime, and it was only a 4-point game after 1. But that second quarter where the Vikings scored just 8, devastating. Aaron Walker comes into the game to replace Jordan's Rust, who gets a good hand from the Mayville State fan base that's here after a 36-point night for Jordan's Rust tonight. 95-72, Johnson ripping a ball free with 1:10 to go. Into the right corner, Torres, hard take to the basket, pulls up from 6 and hits it. Adriana Torres now with 20 points tonight. And the lead is cut to 21. 95-74, final minute. C.J. Decker up front for Mayville State, crossing left hand. Handing off to Mertens, coming from left to right. Back to her left, hard take to the basket, missed it. And a rebound to Torres for Valley City State. Shot clock differential is about 17 seconds. Johnson's got an open look for 3 in transition. Missed it, and the rebound's out of bounds. And the ball will go back to Mayville State with 39.8 seconds remaining. Inbounds pass will come in from Sydney Brecken for the Comets. Comets will move to 14-2 on the season, and they will move to 3-0 in North Star Athletic Association play. Vikings will fall to 1-2 in the conference, and they will fall to 7-10 in the overall campaign. The Vikings go to Dickinson coming up on Friday. A jump stop in the lane for Walker, and she traveled. And the ball will go back to the Vikings. And in this weird sort of 3-team pod thing that we have going on, I don't think Mayville State plays again this week. They're off for the upcoming weekends. This is the only action for Mayville State this week, whereas the Vikings will head down the road and take on Dickinson coming up on Friday. Down to 7 seconds. Ball in to J.C. Richter. Richter thinking reverse layup, turns, falls away. That one goes. She got it to go up. I'm not sure how. Undersized all night, but it's a 31-point performance now for J.C. Richter. And your final score on the LaRue Locker Financial scoreboard tonight will be Mayville State 95 and Valley City State University 76. The Comets are 14-2. The Vikings are 7-10. And the Comets are 3-0 in the league, and the Vikings will fall to 1-2. Brief post-game report, wrap-up on the way. This is Viking basketball on the voice of the Vikings and the voice of the Valley, KOVC.
Every body is different. Some experience injuries, while others need extra support.
I'll help you, Grandma.
At Jamestown Regional Medical Center, your health is what matters most. Our orthopedics and sports medicine team care for you and your unique needs. Their goal is to help you live your best life. Choose Jamestown Regional Medical Center for care of hips, shoulders, knees, and broken bones. Learn more at jrmcnd.com/orthopedics.
Why choose professional eye care centers? Let me count the whys. First, there are now 4 great doctors to see. Dr. Frank, Dr. Freilich, Dr. Jangela, and now welcoming Dr. Bond. Next is their many locations. You can now see one of their spectacular doctors in Jamestown, Valley City, Carrington, Edgeley, Ellendale, and Lemoore. And finally, their fantastic frame selection. And yes, all of their frames and lenses are backed up by warranty. Visit ProEyeCareCenters.com and make an appointment today. Professional Eye Care Centers, clearly the best.
A big night for J.C. Richter and a start for Valley City State, but one of the potential players of the year with a huge night tonight for Mayville State and Jordan's Rust. And the Viking women can't overcome an 8-point second quarter as they are beaten tonight by Mayville State. Your final score, 95-76. Mayville State gets their 14th win in women's basketball this season. Welcome back to Viking basketball on the voice of the Vikings and the voice of the Valley, KOVC. The Viking women will fall to 7-10, 1-2 in the league. The Comets to 14-2 in the overall campaign with the win, and they improved to 3-0 inside conference play tonight. A huge night for J.C. Richter. 31 points and 15 rebounds for Valley City State tonight for J.C. Richter. A double-double for J.C. that included 6 offensive rebounds tonight. And J.C. had a very, very big night emerging as a starter. One of 3 Vikings in double figures. But what the Vikings could not overcome was a second quarter where after they scored 26 first quarter points, they scored just 8 and shot 3 of 13 from the field. Otherwise, this was an even game throughout the other 3 quarters of play. The Comets winning it, obviously, by a slim margin. But that second quarter, the Comets backed up 30 in the first with 27 in the second. And the Vikings just 8 in the second quarter. And that was just a distance that could not be overcome for the Vikings tonight. Mayville State led by Jordan's Rust, 36 points, 9 rebounds, 1 of 4 in double figures tonight. Mackenzie Hughes, 19 points. Greta Hileka with 18 on 6 threes. And Alex Page with 12 on 4 threes. The Comets were 14 of 25 from the three-point line tonight. They shot a huge percentage from the stripe. That included 56% for the game, and the first half was 89% from the three-point line. So they treated this like this was their home floor, shooting 50.8% from the field tonight. For the Vikings, 31 points, 15 rebounds. J.C. Richter, 13 of 14 from the field tonight. Adriana Torres with 20. Ashlyn Diemert with 17 and 7 rebounds this evening as well. Torres, or other Diemert, had a 5 of 11 three-point shooting night. She continues to be a very effective three-point shooter. The Vikings had some good rebounding numbers outside of that, as there were 5 points, 8 rebounds for Haley Roberts tonight. 5 rebounds again for Elise Hebring. 4 offensive rebounds tonight for the Vikings. But those are the big numbers again. 31 points and 15 rebounds for J.C. Richter. And Richter's clearly our Ivy Real Estate Group Player of the Game Award winner. Compliments of Ivy Real Estate Group, your only locally owned real estate brokerage in Valley City, bringing you our Player of the Game Award tonight. And tonight, J.C. Richter, 31 points, 15 rebounds for the Vikings. A big, big night for Valley City State for J.C. Richter, the sophomore, stepping in to get her first start of the year. That'll do it for women's basketball. The men's game is next, and always a great rivalry between these two. A Comet team that gets votes, not quite in the top 25. The Vikings were the first to top Mayville State in conference basketball last year, and it happened in this gym, and the score was in the hundreds, 102-98 when they played here a time ago. Should be a good one. Join us for it. We'll get the tip-off to that one started in about 15 minutes at around 7:25 tonight. So join us at 7:25 for the start of that one. Again, your final score tonight in women's play is the Vikings beaten by Mayville State 95-76. So long for a bit. We'll bring you back to the field house not too long from now. This is Viking basketball on the voice of the Vikings and the voice of the Valley, KOVC.
KOVC, 1490 AM and 96.3 FM, the voice of the Valley.
Don't let anybody tell you it's gonna be easy. Don't let anyone tell you they know what it's like. When they say, get out on this town, meet somebody new, get lost in the crowd, all I see is you. Don't let anybody tell you it's gonna be easy. And that's the trouble with a heartbreak, it's gonna hang around, leave you midnight breaking down, wondering how long that it's gonna take, getting over her. It's a can't drown, whiskey down kind of hurt. Yeah, you can burn them 4 wheels up on that road, but there ain't nowhere her memory can't go. That's the trouble with a heartbreak. Yeah, that's the trouble with a heartbreak, yeah. Think about where she is, who she's driving crazy. Driving me crazy. Can't see her rear view sunset without thinking about us.